Southeast Asia, Brazil, and Latin America. Taking place from September 10th through the 19th, Masters Berlin will begin with group play, followed by an 18 single elimination bracket. All matches will be a best of 3, with the exception of the finals, which will be a best of 5. Group A is kicking things off with a bang. Some of the best performing teams in VCT history could cross paths here. Group B is a wild mix of rising stars and longtime staples of the VCT. Group C is sure to be a banger. Match 1 is the Russian powerhouse Gambit versus Japan's favorite Crazy Raccoon. Lastly, we've got Group D. Due to the ongoing global pandemic, Ren Esports are unfortunately unable to attend Masters Berlin. As a result, Group D will play a double round robin, where each team will face each other twice, with 2 teams emerging from each of the 4 groups. Those 8 teams will then be seeded into a single elimination bracket. The winner of this bracket will earn both the Masters Berlin trophy and an automatic qualification into Champions, the grand finals of the Valorant Champions Tour. Good luck to all the competitors, and we'll see you in Berlin.
Now, we had an international LAN already, as you guys remember, in Iceland. But Sean, even though, you know, some things are still the same, we still have a double elimination. I love that. But the game itself is not the same.
Holy, has there been some changes. The biggest patch change I think I've seen in any game was patch 3.0 that came out in July. And every agent took a hit. Every ability costs more money. Certain abilities operate differently, like Skye's regenerating Flash now. And that made her a vital piece in the game. You had changes to all the guns, the moving accuracy. So all these teams had to adapt to these changes, and that's what makes this tournament so exciting. We get to see how it plays out on LAN.
Yeah, obviously, different teams, different play styles, but now they have to adapt to all these changes as well. I feel like most of them are going to bring something new to the table, almost 100%. And of course, there's some teams that couldn't even have made it. I mean, from last time, SMB would have not been here because they were not a thing in Masters 2.
I gotta say, out of the things that the teams could be bringing, would you like to see some KO in here? We didn't see KO at all, really, at EMEA.
I'm a huge KO fan. I just think he hasn't been solved yet, right? I think he needs to be adapted into a team where he's suppressing, and then there's just layered abilities on top of his suppression, and I haven't seen it other than steal from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, but I think it's also the fact that I feel it's easy to play around him. I feel like it's easy to counter him because there's only so much space that you can take. There's not many lineups just yet. Just wait for the Korean players to get the lineups, and then the rest of the world will follow.
Yeah, things are going to start to heat up as the tournament goes. But the game is not the only thing that's new. We have a group stage now. We didn't have this in Iceland. I'm very excited about this, but people always talk about the group of death. I do think, Akuka, that looking at these 4 groups, we've got a pretty obvious group of death here.
I mean, I like the groups, I have to say, but I see we're saying group of death. To me, is Group A, just because I feel like Vision Strikers, Paper Rex, and especially Acend and SMB, it's really hard to pick a favorite one out of this. I don't know, Sean, you're going to go for Group D because you're here for the public.
You like KO.
I definitely agree. Group A is insane, but Group D, in my eyes, has so much potential to excite me, right? It sucks that Bren couldn't be here because that really hurts a team like F4Q that relies on that, surprise factor. Bunny just satcheling all over the place. Then you have G2 and Sentinels. I can't believe only 2 of those teams are going to make it out, and it's just such a brutal format for that specific group.
Yeah, I mean, Kakuka, I know Sean talked a little bit about Group D, but G2, our boys, they're in there, and, you know, they wanted to play Sentinels. This is something that they wanted.
You wanted Sentinels, you get double. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's good for us because I think everybody wants to see that match, and we're going to get double the dose, so I'm really happy with it. I don't know how happy they are, though.
Carlos is pretty happy. I think he sent out some tweets. He's probably pretty stoked about the matchup, but everyone apparently is saying Gen 2 got them scrim bucks this time around. They're destroying people in the scrims. I mean,
we'll see what happens on stage where it matters. But Sean, you know, I'm going to get this out of the way because I know you want to gloat about this, and I know we've got a few players we wanted to talk about, players to watch. I'll let you get the one that you really want to speak about out of the way.
Of course I want to talk about my boy Shazam. Oh my gosh, I love this guy. So I played with Shazam a lot in the past in CS, and the way he's evolved as a player and as a person is just so incredible in the last 2 years. He is the in-game leader, the coach, the mentor, the guiding light of this team, as as well as a star duelist. And when the team brought TenZ in, what did Shaz do? He didn't demand that he keeps all of his roles. He fell back into a Sova role, let TenZ have whatever he wanted, redesigned the team, and still Sentinels is the best team in the world. I have never seen an in-game leader have so much success at the start of a game, doing so many crazy things. So I have to say, Shazam is just like the best player in the world in my eyes.
Ooh, big statement, Kukuka, big statement.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, everybody that's looking at Sentinels, which is literally everybody, anyone that plays Valorant, you have to admit that he is Mr. Do-It-All and do it well. And he's so good at reading what his team needs. And I think it's literally what you said. Everything just falls into place.
I got to ask, though, before we move on to the next player, but, you know, looking at it, it's obvious that TenZ is the big win condition. I think even the Fnatic player said in the final that had TenZ not played, they felt like they had a better chance. But do you feel like Shaz is actually overlooked a little bit on how much of an impact he brings?
It's crazy. I think everyone on Sentinels is overlooked when you have TenZ on the team because you have players like Zoms, who's one of the best controllers in the States. You have Dapper, the best Sentinel player in the States. You have Sick. I mean, he can do it all. He's an MVP caliber player. So, yeah, I think Shazam does get overlooked because TenZ is on the team, because TenZ is a monster. He's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, we're not going to let you run away too much there with how much you love Sentinels. We get it. We got to show some love to EMEA as well, Kukuka.
Obviously, and we need to talk about one player. I know you love us all, and everybody at home, this is nuts. You were mentioning Dapper for Sentinels in the States, but here in EMEA, it's nuts for sure. This is the problem with this player. He is insane. He honors his name in every single game. And you know the worst part of it? He's not going to be playing a duelist. He's not going to go in your face. He's not going to be initiating. He's not even the brains for the team. But trust me, he's playing the Viper. He's a strong holding. He's playing Cypher. It doesn't really matter. He's going to get all the kills. No round is secured against Gambit unless Nats is dead.
If you have not watched a Gambit game, you mentioned it perfectly right there, Kukuka. His setups on the Cypher and Viper, it's like he's doing art. They're masterpieces. They're so well thought out. He has every hit planned. He's such a treat to watch. He's my favorite player to watch in the European region because I like those agents. They're very cerebral agents, right? They're not the duelists. So washed up players like myself, we like that. We like
Sean. Yeah. I mean, you guys don't know, but Sean kicked our asses on the stage when we did play. So no, I'm not gonna let you say that about yourself. But I gotta ask, because coming into this tournament, there was a lot of whispers on social media. Who's the best Cypher player? And most people are saying Nats. Would you agree?
Oh, I can't. Well, you can't leave out Dapper in there. I feel like they're right next to each other. I am praying that we get the matchup. If we get that Cypher matchup, it will be so epic. I will just love those VODs and just watch them and cherish them forever. Please let us get the Cypher matchup.
I mean, I'm kind of tired, you know, of the Jet head-to-head. I mean, we see it all the time, obviously, because most of the teams have like a superstar Jet. But come on, let's get some Cypher as well.
Yeah. I'm completely with you. I'm with you. And we're also going to look at someone who doesn't play the Cypher or the Jet. And I know, Sean, you've been a big fan of Stack since pretty much the beta.
Yeah, and for people that were watching all the VODs coming out the Korean region and really wanted Vision Strikers to make Iceland, it was because of this guy. They started the flash dash, right, from Breach, and Stax is the go-to Breach when you think about this agent in the world. He has so many incredible plays. He uses the utility perfectly, and now that Sky has been buffed, you see him incorporating a little bit of that as Sky. So he's such an exciting player. He sets up his teammates. He's always thinking about winning the round rather than getting the frag, and that's why I like watching him.
I mean, I have to say, we don't get to see KO unless Stax is going to be like, okay, this is going to be like the next big thing. What I really like about Stax, it's even if they're not playing on the best map, there is always something prepared coming from him that's going to completely blow your mind. Like, for example, in the last matchup, I saw them play Split, and they lost extremely hard against F4Q, and it didn't matter because we saw some micro plays that I was like, holy, like for real?
Yeah, you always learn something when you watch those guys. It's like an educational video.
I mean, everybody steals their stuff from them for a reason, right? It's not even a secret at this point. But before I'm gonna ask you guys a hard question now, because the tournament hasn't started. I don't want you to second guess yourself, and I don't even want you to use anything concrete or stats to decide this answer, but I want to know who you think is going to take the crown here. The whole tournament. Who's winning here, Sean? Come on.
Not even any copium. My boy Sentinels are winning this.
Of course.
They got this. Easy. Yeah, I have to go with Sentinels. I mean, they're on top of the world. They have such a dominant roster. Best players in North America. Shazam, I've already praised him enough. they're just loaded with riches. They just have to win.
It's a very sensible choice, I think. I think
Yeah.
most people agree with you. I've gone with Acend because I backed them since Masters 1. I
Yeah.
have to. But the problem here is Kakuka. Talk me through what I'm seeing on the screen right now.
So that is wrong. No, it's not wrong. Listen, I am a trader. I
Yep.
left LVP. I left the Spanish cast to come here, and now I'm betraying EMEA as well. I mean, what can I say? I really feel like we have some good representation from every single region, but I still feel like NA is one step ahead. And I mean, otherwise, just prove me wrong. Maybe I just jinxed it.
Okay, we don't have enough time on air for me to talk some senses into you, Kakuka. So we are going to take a quick break now. But when we're back, we'll be looking at two familiar foes, Acend and SuperMassiveBlaze, right after this.
Long drives always seem too slow. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay. Gray skies always feel so cold. Whoa. Blue eyes, they look at me so bold. And I'm scared of getting old. Whoa. That's why I hate to see you go. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you. I don't know why you stay. I don't know why you stay.
Woohoo! We are kicking off Masters Berlin strong. The players from our opening match, SMB and Acend, are just arriving at the venue now, and it's not long before we get to see them on this stage. SMB and Acend, the opening game, but Sean, I gotta say, we can't forget that they've also got Vision Strikers and Paper X in their group.
Yeah, and Vision Strikers is opening up against Paper X. So people always say, oh, Vision Strikers has the group of death. This is so horrible. We might not get to see them in playoffs. But they get the benefit of playing both teams, right? If they beat Paper X.
Yeah.
They have to beat Paper X first. But if they beat Paper X, they'll be able to play the winner of Acend, SMB. And then if they lose that, they would technically get to play them again, the loser of that matchup. So I think Vision Strikers has an excellent chance to get out of this group. And if I'm those EU teams, I'm terrified of losing this opening game.
I completely agree with you. I think that's exactly what is going to happen. I mean, because we're going to have to not say goodbye, but send to the lower bracket to one of those EMEA teams. But I actually have a feeling that they're both going to go through it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Oh!
I mean, you were a traitor about 3 minutes ago.
I'm just jinxing it, okay?
Okay, but let's take a look at these two teams now. There's a lot of history between them two. But we'll start with SMB because they are the newest team, one of the newest teams in this entire tournament.
Yeah, completely. And of course, in EMEA, we know them and all, but you may need an introduction because you're not ready for what you are about to see. We are seeing 5 Turkish players. This is amazing for their region. We have Para coming from Team Heretics, who has now taken the role of IGL, and it's just crazy. Ross with the Sky, Turco with the Sage. You have not seen this Sage. He is a clutch master, and actually, Brave, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Brave!
Happy
He's
birthday,
turning 18,
Brave.
so we're really happy. Oh my God, here they are.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, the thing that I think about when I think of SMB are all those Dragon Vandals. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Everyone on their team is using Dragon Vandals, but their playstyle is so explosive. They have that reactive playstyle, and they think of themselves like a Sentinels type of team, right? Reacting off of utility, not organized, not super structured like your Ascends. So that's what makes this matchup so spicy, is just that contrast.
Yeah, and we caught a glimpse of Izzy there just now getting off the minibus. And Sean, he is definitely one of the players to watch here.
Oh, Izzy is so exciting. He's so exciting. But it's this jet roll, right? This jet roll that he plays is incredible. He's opening up things all the time for his team. He does play Raze, and he opts on Raze too if you watch him on Bind. But his Raze statistics, they're not that great. That is one thing that I think SMB will need. He will need to have a good game on Raze if they want to win this matchup.
I feel like he's a really constant player. Like, you're never going to see him bottom fragments. He's always going to be explosive. And I think that even though this is a LAN event, it's going to be great for him.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be great for all of these Jet Orpers in the tournament. Of course, they're taking on Acend. They had a great time the last time they played against Acend. But Acend, Sean, most would say actually have a pretty good chance going into this.
In my eyes, Acend is the best team in Europe and potentially the best team in the world, which is insane because that man on the right side of your screen, I'm going to start with him, Zeke, he was brought in for the in-game leader of this team, and he is a duelist. And somehow this team has gotten better. Apparently, they worked on their communication. They ironed all their problems out. Kile is that man to his left. He's playing all these supportive roles, Cyphers, Vipers. He's hopping all over the place. I've seen him play Sovas. And then CNED is the man of the hour, the man of the match. He's always going to be putting up the frags on this team when you watch him. Locking in Jet. Sometimes you'll see him on Sage. He can do it all. He can open up rounds very aggressively, or he can play passively and allow one of his teammates to, create that opening for him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm living for Kilez's photo. I don't know about you, but I love that. Everyone else is kind of posing normally, and he's like, be quiet. And I cannot believe, actually, Kakuka, that you, me, and Sean, we're about to be on the same stage as freaking CNED. The CNED.
The CNED. I don't know if we're going to get like an actual reaction. I want to see him cry of happiness, something.
It's not going to happen.
It's still show me that you're alive. You were saying probably one of the best, if the best team in EMEA. To me, it's really hard to pick one because I feel like they're really different profiles. So I'm still not sure. I mean, I'm here to find out, actually, because those sit-ins matches, they were not really a thing for me.
What I really love about Acend, and I'm not sure if you guys feel this way as well, as like you people that get to watch all their games all the time, they have these two styles. The style where CNED is just gloves off. I'm pushing you. I'm getting the picks. I can do whatever I want. I have that freedom from Bone Cold. And then they have the very structured, this is where this is going to go, this. And it's layered strats all day. It's insane.
I like about the team also the fact that it's clearly shown that they have tried things on screens and decided not to use them on officials. Like they've changed the roles a lot of times, and you can see it because of the way that players play against other teams and the quick adaptation. And I have to agree with that, specifically on the Cena part. We see him even picking up that operator early in the rounds, maybe third, fourth round, just when he knows that he doesn't have to, he doesn't need, oh, here we are, his statistics. He doesn't need to be the entry fragger, he just needs to anchor a little bit for his team, and it works so well for him. There's so much to say about him. We were talking about a super Turkish team, and now we're talking about the super Turkish player, and that has to be seen. He might be dead inside, we don't know that, but he's alive on his brain, he's completely alive.
The double thumbs up.
Yeah, the double thumbs up. That's what we're going for.
Kuka, what do you think about that first blood percentage? Literally 1 in every 5 rounds.
1 in every 5.
This guy's opening up rounds.
But even with that, I mean, I don't know if we're going to see Acend today, but I feel like even on the attack, it's exactly what I'm going to tell you. He's going to go for the operator. He's going to find that duo because he knows that he's playing against Easy, and the SuperMassiveBlaze is going to be aggressive because it's part of them. So I think he's really going to take up on that.
I do want to circle back to what you were saying earlier as well, because obviously we have to talk about CNED. But I think you made a good point that this isn't just CNED and friends, right? This is the rest of this roster. I think it's a little bit of disrespect sometimes when people just look at this team and go, oh, CNED just going to carry you. But that's not the case.
No, there is massive disrespect thrown at this team because of how good CNED is, right? It's almost like that Wardell on TSM factor, except the whole team actually is really good and they can run strats. Yeah.
Wait, did you just do
yes, I did that.
The slyest
but Starkso, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. When he plays that Sky on a couple of their maps, he's so good at swinging with the flashes right now in this current meta. And in my eyes, that is such a pivotal thing to be good at in the meta, is playing Sky.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of expectations for Acend, but can one of the best teams in EU make an impact on the international stage? Let's hear from the players themselves.
I'm Sinet, I'm 19 years old, I'm from Turkey, and I'm playing for Acend. Bonkold is our IGL of the team. He's a angry guy, a little bit. He's good IGL, I mean, he's funny, he's good. Starkso is the most energetic guy, I think, in the team, and his support in the is the role. Kles is the quiet guy, I think, after me. He's a sentinel, is on our team. Zeke is the second IGL, I think, and he's a second duelist also. That makes us great is the chemistry, and the chemistry is good in the team. That's why this is this house.
Another connection onto Nats, and Chronicle won't last long either.
I think we are better than Masters 1 and Masters 2, to be honest, and I think we are not going to do the same mistakes in Masters 2. I'm happy because I'm going to play with the best teams in America, Brazilian teams, Korean teams. So I couldn't do in the Masters 2 because we eliminated, but I want to do this in Masters 3 and beat every team we faced.
Oh, that's it. Just got to get out of there. Just on time alone. They've won this.
I want to face, of course, against Sentinels because they're the last champions, so everyone wants to beat them. Also, I want to beat them because they're the champion. I want to play against SuperMassive because we lost them in the upper bracket final, and also with Gambit because I want to take the revenge in the EMEA playoffs. We are going to smash them, I think. I can say that. That's it.
With in with the double, and this is looking done. Trade for them with only the one man lost, and CNED makes sure they keep this extending.
Kakuka, I know you had some questions on what CNED is really like, outside of the game, and that's got to be one of the most endearing things I have ever watched. How could you hate this guy? He's amazing.
How can you say that?
Not you. Not you. I mean NA in general, because I've seen a lot of the class.
The attack is for you here, Sean, not for me.
Yeah.
You gotta adore him. Of course, he's a player. He's a endearing. I mean, I want more than just this time, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, when he had an interview a while back, he said that Starkso and Zeke are actually, the secondary callers on the team, and he just provides that reactive information. So he's a quiet guy in the game, out of the game. I don't think we're going to get much out of him.
Yeah, I do love that. I thought we were going to hear from Starkso or Zeke. You just assume, you know, or maybe Bone Cold, but it's great to hear from CNED right off the bat. But also, just on the back of what you said, you know, here he said that Starkso brings so much of that energy. And I know behind the scenes we were discussing, maybe there's going to be like a Boaster of Berlin, you know, that personality, give us a bit of showmanship. And I think that Starkso could be that.
Oh, yeah. I think every successful team needs that player, right? They need the dapper. They need someone like that to liven up the energy when things are low. And Starkso is definitely that player on the team. And when you read their interviews, he is that player. He's the guy providing the mid-game calls. He's not designing the tactics, but he's the voice of direction throughout a round.
I feel like it's the kind of player that we need. I mean, people haven't seen it, but we have seen some of the Korean teams as well. And I feel like all of the players in every Korean team are that player. I've also seen, like, I would like to mention Kellogg's for G2, even though it's his first time on a LAN. I really like that about him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time for a lot of these players on LAN as well, especially, you know, coming out of Turkey too, for the side of SMB. They have a tough task today, Kukuka.
Yes.
And, you know, CNED seemed pretty confident in that interview too. So what do you feel like SMB have to do? Because they've been here before. These two teams, they've played together already.
Yeah, but the problem is it's a seeded match. We saw Acend play in Split. It's something that we're probably not going to see today. Maybe they surprise us and we're like completely blown out. But I feel like it's not going to be even close to the same. SMB has to be as aggressive as they are, but I would like to have Power maybe in a less aggressive role, because him being the IGL, especially on maps like Bind, I feel like he just pushes too much sometimes because they don't have the means to gather the information that they actually want. So he just decides to push. And there's some things, like some decision-making process that I don't completely agree with. So that had to change.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the matchup we're going to see today is going to feel a lot different than that online game. That was a CD match, like you said. But also, I think something that's interesting about SMB is that all these players fall perfectly into their roles within the game, right? Turco's always going to lock in that Sage. Russ is always going to be an initiator. Brave is always going to be a controller. Izzy's always going to be a duelist. And Poor's always going to be a sentinel. And an aggressive one at that.
Yeah, we got to talk about one of Kukuka's favorite players here,
He's my favorite.
I know you're very happy that he made it here into Berlin.
He has to be my favorite. I mean, we talked about this during the EMEA finals, and I was like, okay, we have a team full of stars. We have that as well in Sentinels, for example. But I feel like Turco is a little bit like Nuts. You know, it's like he's one of the clutches. He's always on the same level of hype. He's always going to be on 100%. And of course, he's playing the Sage. But I feel like within this team, he's the one that plays his role the most.
Yeah, I mean, he has picked Sage 100% of his games in the last 8 days. This guy is a Sage main, right? But he is phenomenal at aiming. He is an aimer through and through. When I watch him, I'm blown away at some of the one-taps he hits with those Dragon Vandals.
I mean, you spoke a little bit about how much you love the structural way that Acend, they can just whip it out when they need to, right? Do you feel like that's something that SMB are lacking a little bit? Because they do still have this reputation that they're just insane Turkish aimers and they can be a little bit messy.
Like, I don't want to say they're lacking it, right? Because that's just their style, right? Some teams have that punch them in the face and see how they respond kind of thing. And if they start off early with that style, it's often very hard to combat that and claw your way back into the map strategically.
I feel like, especially at the beginning of every map, we're going to see the teams taking it slow because they know that some things might have changed. They don't want to be too eager to just go and make the first move because they know that something must have changed and they might lose it then.
I mean, is that thing that what they need to do, though? Do you feel like they need
to be passive?
Yeah, exactly.
SMB needs to be passive. I mean, what I don't like is that sometimes they renounce completely to any kind of information early in the round and then just explode on one side. That cannot happen, especially early 6 rounds.
Well. We saw the players arrive earlier, but it's time to get them on the Berlin stage. And, of course, show you guys at home, too, where our 15 teams will be competing over the next 2 weeks. This is where champions will be shaped and history will be made.
A masterpiece lasts forever, while the artist will find death awaiting every turn. A moment that will outlive me forgotten. Ars longa, vita brevis. Art is eternal. Life is short.
Hello. Hello. കേക്കാവടാ? Hello. Hello, കേക്കാവോ?
We spoke about this earlier, the impact of Izzy and CNED, but they are finally here in the flesh, Kakuka, just meters away from us.
I just can't. I mean, I've seen this, we've rehearsed this, but every single time I get the goosebumps. This is crazy. We had seen the head-to-head, it's time for the face-to-face.
But look at this nerd chills right now, man.
Sean.
This editing is insane. The stage is gorgeous. Oh my god, if I were these players, I would be so nervous right now.
Are you a bit jealous, Sean? You want to be up there?
I'm incredibly jealous. This is so cool.
Yeah, we'd love to see you up there as well. But also, I gotta say, this is a huge moment, Sean, for Turkey. They have 6 players standing on the international stage.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is I don't think anyone outside of EMEA saw SMB getting here. You guys might have. I definitely didn't. I thought that, the best player in Turkey was CNED and everyone else was miles away. I was wrong. These guys are incredible. And they have, like you said, 6 of them are on this stage right now.
I'm actually kind of sad, that this. I mean, I'm happy that this is such a strong start for whole Masters. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Our show. Okay. Give me a break.
You guys at home can't hear this, but we're feeling some energy on this stage right now. Well,
Hey,
SMB
it's a competition now.
giving it back as well. I'm excited to see how these players do, but we got to talk about maps real quick because, you know, we've spoken about this already. They played against each other at EMEA playoffs. But Sean, would you like to see those 3 maps come up again?
I mean, I would like to, Yinsu. I don't think we are. That was the only time Acend has played Split in the last couple months, right? They're 0-1. And against SMB, they will not let that map through. I don't think SMB is going to let Breeze through. And that is scary if I'm on SMB because the last 2 months, these are the stats for Acend. 6-1 Bind, 7-2 Haven, 5-2 Icebox, 3-0 Breeze. Where are they weak? Nowhere.
On Acend. They are actually, I mean, you know, you need to know what button to push to actually beat Acend. It's not an easy task, okay? Of course it's not easy. That's why they're here. But I feel like, I have to agree, it's nothing like we saw on the upper semifinals. We're not going to see Split. I doubt that we're going to see Breeze. But you know what I'm willing to see some changes in anything. Team compositions, playstyle, I'm down for it.
They've had time, and I think because they know each other so well, they have to do changes, right?
Yeah.
You can't just do the same thing over and over again. And with that in mind, it's time to reveal the map vetoes, and we've got something special for you guys. Here is our brand new map select. Yeah, that's right, baby. We got floating map in the middle of the stage. But let's start with the bans first. I know both of you, you know, we're probably not expecting to see anything crazy out of the bans. They're not going to want to take away things they're comfortable on. But having seen what they've done in the EMEA playoffs, it's very unlikely we see Acend let that split through. But who knows? They've had a couple of weeks to try and get their map pool back into order. But I also will say that, Sean, when you asked about the weaknesses, here we go.
Oh, yeah, Acend banning Split right off the bat. This is exactly what we expected. Everything is going according to plan. I have no idea how the picks are going to happen, but Split being taken out by Acend is a power play.
And now we have Breeze banned by, so no surprises here. Oh, I love this map select. Thank you very much, NA, for coming to EU to actually get the real production.
Yeah, everything makes sense so far, but this is the first pick, and it is a bind lock straight in there. Sean, what do you make of this?
Yeah, that's Acend's pick, and that is one of my favorite maps to watch them on. And you won't even get to see CNET on Jet. I know it's tragic. We're going to get to see him on Sage most likely, because that's what he locks in there. But Keelay's on the Viper. Jeez, he is insane on the map. They like to run the double controller with Brimstone. They're the best in the world on the map.
Very strong, especially on the defender side. I feel like they've only played against, I mean, they've only lost against Gambit. I feel like they're super strong. They do the double control and it works for them. On the other side, SMB is not going to go with the double smoke. That scares me a lot because of map control and because I love a good Brimstone on bind.
Oh, Acend. Okay, that's coming up second. Kukuka, I know you really wanted to see this.
I love this because I feel like both Acend and Icebox are the maps for the Jets to shine. And that's what we're here for. Come on, no, we're not fooling anyone. I feel like this is a map that, of course, SMB had to pick for themselves. They're extremely strong on there, so it's no surprise.
Yeah, 7-4 in the last couple of months on Acend. I mean, this is their home field. They can hit the A side, they can hit the B side. They run fakes really, really well on the map. And you can see Acend is going to be picking defense actually to start on. I think that's a really good choice, trying to get CNET activated on that defensive side.
And map 3, we're going to go to Icebox if we go to map 3. Sean, what do you make of this one? Are you a fan of Icebox, of those two teams?
Look, I really think that both these teams are phenomenal on Icebox, right? It's the map that allows your Jet and your Duelist in general to shine. The rest of the roles kind of fall into place. There's always going to be that Viper, that Sova, you know, but we're going to get to see the CNET Izzy map 3 potentially Jet on Icebox. Oh my god, it will be insane. And SMB is going to start on defense there.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised because I thought that they were actually going to go for the attack. They're an aggressive team, and especially on Icebox, I feel like there's nothing wrong with starting attacking. I mean, probably you want to, but we'll see if we get to the third map.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing the exact same group of maps as you guys expected, but we are seeing some of them, a couple of them. But let's talk about Bind first, because that is going to be map 1. This is Acend's pick, which is pretty much expected, Sean, given how dominant they are here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the first time these two teams met, Pora gave them a lot of trouble on that A side. You can see the map on the floor. That is insane. That's so cool. So Pora will set up his Killjoy utility all over this A side. And the reason why this is so weird is because they also have a Sage, right? They have a Killjoy and a Sage. and then Izzy likes playing Jet. Those aren't really that great of bind agents as a trio, so they had to make some changes, and that's why Izzy plays Raze usually on bind. It's a very uncomfortable map for SMB.
Yeah, I feel that that's the word, uncomfortable. And actually, earlier on the pre-show, I was like, there's some things that I don't like, especially Power when he pushes too much. We know, and we'll see now, if they're going to pick the Astra.
Yes.
It is an agent that I like in this map if it has another controller. I feel like it suits the style for SMB, but I just feel like it's not enough. They do not gather enough information, and I want to see Cena perform on the stage. I think it has to be a good start for him.
When I watched SMB though on bind, I loved Brave's. He had great star placement right outside hookah. He controlled hookah with Turco a lot, and that's what allowed Poor to lock down the A site with the turrets top triple, the turrets for U-Haul, as well as crazy alarm bot placements that allowed like reactions from his team. So they have so many little tricks up their sleeve.
I mean, this is the problem, right? We saw with some of the EMEA teams, Kakuka, that the teams that did run Astra had a bigger success rate, and the teams that didn't run Astra just struggled. Do you feel like this is the difference maker? Do SMB have to run the Astra?
They don't have to, not at all. We're probably not going to see them. I mean, we'll go into Agent Select in a little while, but I feel like Astra is good when it's accompanied by other smokers, I was saying. Maybe if you make it work, if you really work to make it work, but on paper, it's going to look like it suits SMB. I still don't think it was enough. I have to say, though, that when they lost this map against Acend, they just came back from getting their visas ready. I remember this moment when we were in finals, and they were like, oh, we didn't get any sleeves, but we actually needed to get to Berlin and, you know, priorities. But that sounded like an excuse for me.
What about you, Sean? Because, you know, in NA, Astra is still very much a viable pick, but in EMEA, not many teams are running her.
I actually kind of disagree with Kakuka. I think Astra's an insane individual control. Like if you solo picked an Astra, you can use those gravity wells to take control of Shower. You can use the gravity well to instantly take that long B area. And I agree, after patch 3.0 with those delays to the gravity well, I believe it's 1.4 seconds into the round, she's got that little bit of a nerf, and we've seen a decline in her, but she's still mega viable, and I love it.
I think, and I am going to bet that there's going to be some changes coming from SMB because they knew two things. Right? They knew two things. They knew that they wanted to ban Breeze. Maybe we'll see it later in the competition. But against Acend, knowing how they play and knowing that you have not tested what you have prepared, are you gonna? I mean, this is such a strong start. Everybody's going to be watching. So if you have that ace, you're not going to use it now. No. So they save that. But they know that Acend is going to pick bind against them. So 100% bet Ulti Red is going to be changes. Yeah.
I do actually want to go more on that point because going into Iceland, you know, everybody was kind of hyped about Fnatic's bind because they were one of the best bind teams in the world. And I think outside of Sentinels, they weren't even really that challenged, or they didn't even lose on bind until they met Sentinels. But the problem that Boaster and Mini said was that because everybody liked their bind, they knew what they did, they had to make changes. And Sean, if you look at the way that Acend have played bind, they've had the same comp for 14 games in a row. So do you feel like they also need to make changes here?
I don't know. I mean, they win 61% of their attack rounds, 74% of their defensive rounds. I am a little worried about what you said because there's so much footage on them. And Starkzo takes control of Showers as that Sky, right? He'll send in the Guiding Light. He'll send in the Tiger. And he'll try to clear out Showers. Sometimes he's by himself. Sometimes it's a 4-person Shower hit. It's very difficult to gather that info and figure out which one it is. But when you have the footage, you can figure it out. So I'm worried for Acend in that regard.
I mean, we saw this double controller all over the place. Yeah, it was Fnatic. It was impossible to beat until the teams actually learn how to do it. So everybody making changes. I feel like SMB has to be one of them, as I was saying. I do love Power. I've always done when he was in Heretics, now when he's on SMB. But I feel like Killjoy, like playing Sentinels like Killjoy or Cypher in this map, it's kind of old. It's just too last year, you know? So.
Yeah, the season's moved on.
No, completely. And I feel like if you really, I mean, if you're going to play like Power plays, just pushing A short and gathering that information, how about you play something else? Or you move to a different role so you can gather and have control of the map without needing your presence on it.
Well, and that's why I actually think this is difficult for Izzy, because he is forced into the scenario where they have a Killjoy and a Sage, and there's not a lot of things that you can open up things things with on attack side, right? Especially if you have a Jet in there too. So he almost has to be raised. That way he has the boom bot, so he has the paint shells.
Yeah.
And they can access hookah, they can access shower with those pieces of utility, and they wouldn't be able to do that with a Jet.
But I also got to say, you know, CNED, not going to see him on the Jet right off the bat. A lot of fans are going to be disappointed. But if Acend were to make changes, is that the kind of change you want to see? Or do you want to see maybe Starkso or Zeke do something different?
No, I would want to see CNED on the Jet. I have these memories in my head of him just peeking shower on FPX, and FPX is so like layered on their strats. They're trying to do all their little cool setups, and he's just peeking into them, dashing away, picking one. Blade Storm.
Stream
He's just insane. He's all over the map when he's on Jet. He's such an impactful player.
And Kukuka?
No, I do not want to see changes because I feel like maybe he could move to, let's say, a Soba, okay? That is something that you can play also with this composition. I feel like CNED needs to have the freedom to not use his abilities for his team, but more for himself. So if we put him on Soba, he's always going to have to switch his positioning for the favor of the team. So I feel like, I mean, he's a Jet player. He needs the freedom. He needs the space for himself.
There's no scenario where we don't want to see him on Jet, you know, every day of the week. But now we know the map picks. I want to get your prediction for the whole series, you know. We got Bind, we got Acend, and we've got Icebox. I'll give you a minute to think. I mean, I backed Acend for the whole tournament. So it's going to be silly for me to not back him here. But I will say I'm 51% certain that it's going to be Acend. Like, for me, there's literally a 1% separating the two teams. I feel like it's going to go to third map no matter what. I wanted to go to third map. I feel like in this kind of a matchup, we deserve it. But Kukuka, who do you think, who are you backing for this?
This is going to be a 2-1, and it's going to be for SuperMassiveBlaze. And I'm going to give you a reason, and it's going to be a good one. I feel like Acend performed better on the pressure. I mean, of course, the pressure is here. We're seeing it. But I feel like if they go into that lower, they're going to perform better for the rest of the competition.
I think the cream rises to the top here, and I think Acend takes this 2-0. I'm gonna be honest. I think if it goes to Icebox, they might be in a little bit of trouble, but they knew this Acend pick was coming. I think of Acend as the best team in EMEA, and I think they're gonna prove it here today.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the other side of this, what do SMB need to do, in your point of view, for it not to be a 2-0? Because obviously, that lower bracket is scary.
Well, they would have to steal this map, right? I don't see it happening. I think of Acend as such a dominant bind team. They have the perfect comp in this meta. Even if the anti-strats come out from SMB, I think Acend will be aware of those possibilities and have made the changes.
I mean, Kukuka, like you said, you're backing SMB here. What do you think are their win conditions? Because Sean, I think he needs some convincing.
Okay, I'm telling you. First of all, Brave is insane. He's extremely young. Literally turned 18 today, as we were saying. But we've heard from Tani, who went from Team Heretics, from OG, from helping here now, along with Merc, that he's such a smart player for being so young. Like, hearing Tani comparing Brave to a Volva at such a young age, being like, I came into this team and this guy is insane. So that is obviously a big win condition. I feel like just bump it up. I just want Para to be the only comped guy on the team.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I love watching them. I will say I love watching SMB because the players have so much freedom to make their plays, and they've gone over all these crazy reactions, the utility that they see across the map. But a structured team like Acend with the footage and defeating them coming into this, I think hurts them in this series.
I mean, like the footage as well, like you said, like, I feel like at this point, if you're not watching Acend, you're stealing something from them, or you're trying to steal something from them. So if anything, I feel like, especially on the other side, there's not as much footage for SMB. Just the comparability is quite jarring in this matchup.
And that's when this is the real test for SMB. Right? As a team in May, which is insane that they even made it here, right? Through all of the competition in EU, these guys rose and they looked really good doing so, making the grand finals actually. But can they do it with all of this footage out and weeks to prepare? This is the real test in my eyes, and Acend has passed that test.
I mean, what would you do if you were, you know, in the shoes of SMB, coming into this tournament, knowing that there's stuff on Acend you could watch, you could anti-strat? What would be your approach?
Oh man, with an aggressive team like SMB, I think maybe they did look into those kind of things, but I don't think you're going to see like these layered strats to try to counter Acend. I think you're going to see Pora maybe create that individual aggression. I don't think you're going to be very happy. I think he's gonna know things and he's going to push in for it, and I think Izzy's going to do the same, Turco as well. they're so good in these little individual quirky matchups and playing off of each other. I can tell their comms are super on point. And if things start going their way in these crazy trade battles, that's their style of game. It's just, once you get punched in the face, how do you respond if you're Acend?
How would you respond? How would you respond?
I mean, I know the power is going to push just too much, and I'm just gonna hold my hands. I'm just gonna look down and just wait for it. But I feel like, on the other hand, Acend it's completely the opposite. It's all about structure. They know exactly what to do in every situation. I mean, they're a great team, so anything can happen. But I feel like in those moments when things are not working, it's easier for Acend to come back into the game than for SMB.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for your insight. I'm very excited about what's going to happen next, because we are heading into the Prime Gaming Agent Select, the first Agent Select of Masters Berlin. Kukuka is expecting some surprises, you know.
Yes.
I definitely would like to see some surprises. We know that Zeke plays Yoru, not on this map, but he has the capability of whipping something out as crazy as that. And I know, Sean, you've been grinding
I can only
Yoru.
get so excited. Please don't do this to me. And so we're not going to see it. You're not going to see it.
I mean, we probably won't see it, but these two teams, you know, with the coaching staff behind them as well, they've given us some surprises in the past. They're definitely two teams that are willing to push the boundaries a little bit here and there, especially in a scenario where they're going up against each other. I'm sure that Agent Select is pretty much going to be with you guys soon on the way. But also,
seen it. I saw it. This is the start, guys.
Smirk.
This is just the beginning.
I do want to say though, Kukuka, being on the same stage as the players, like, I don't know how you feel, but I feel really, really pumped about this, hearing them cheer and scream and kind of already hype each other up.
I mean, it's going to be even crazier because, of course, they have all the white noise and they're not going to be able to see to hear the other team, but we're going to be able to hear everything. So things are going to go crazy here.
Yeah, and speaking of the white noise, so we played the show match with the white noise, and yeah, you can't hear anything outside of your headphones. But another cool aspect about this stage is there's lighting on the outsides of the desk. And something I had a question about was, you know, you can blind the other team and see the light hit their face. Actually, the players cannot see the other players on the other side because of those lights in front of their desks. Yeah. It's such an insane little feature.
EU, 500
so,
IQ. That's how we do it here.
I was gonna say that is you almost baited me.
They planned ahead for you. They planned it. They knew that someone like Sean would be like, oh, I want to make sure that I can see the flashes and use it to my advantage. Also, I know you mentioned the show match. I want to introduce you guys to two people that got their butts absolutely destroyed by me, Sean, and Kukuka. And yeah, it's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you very much, Sue. Yeah, we're going to drop in just for a moment and talk a little bit about what we can expect from this exciting series. But before I touch on that, Tom, how cool was that map select? I mean, floating around the stage, it blows my mind. I've seen it for 3 days, and I still can't believe it.
Well, it's a big problem for us, because our screens are here, and we spend half our time going, wow, isn't that really cool? I love all of this stuff. And you just have people in your ear going like, can you see what's on the screen behind you? So, oh, okay, I guess I can face this way and ignore all of the cool lights. We've seen it about 8 times, though, Mitch. Especially, I love when the maps fade into the floor, and then it hits the floor, and it turns.
In a moment, but first we've got to throw back down and figure out what agents are going to be played here. If there's any surprises, let's take a look.
But I just wanted to yeah, I had the button with me. I just wanted to make sure that we give Mitch and Tom a little bit of screen time before I press the start game button. Sorry, guys. But I'm ready now to press it. I believe Agent Select is ready. The Prime Gaming Agent Select, so we can go and see what these guys are going to be picking. Actually, Tom, I think you should stand like that all the time. The back of your head is a little bit better than the front. Now, you guys can see at home these agents you're seeing right now in black and white are actually the most individual players on this map. So there you go. 62.5% on the Brimstone of all time. So this isn't
it's all time
stat. And I spoke about the Astra pick for Brave. It's 100% of the time these picks.
There it is.
There you go. Been on the game since May, so he could actually afford to be 100% Astra.
But you know, this was kind of expected. I really wanted to see it as well. But so far, Sean, they're going with with what they know.
Yeah, both teams going tried and true here. CNED going with the Sage, Bone Cold going
Are
with
they
the
though?
Okay.
Sova. Am I the only one seeing Ross and Sova?
Pora picked Viper.
Yeah, Pora.
CNED OP Sage ആണല്ലേ.
അവൻ ഈ മാപ്പിലും കണ്ടല്ലോ സേജ് കളിക്കുന്നത്.
അവൻ സ്പ്ലിറ്റിൽ ഞാൻ സേജ് സ്ട്രീമിന് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. സേജ് എടുത്ത് കളിക്കുന്നത്.
No raise, but easy.
He's not playing Sage.
Oh my God! Drop the mic right now. I expect the changes, but this Pora not playing Sentinel and playing Viper. Thank you, Jesus, for hearing my prayers.
This is incredible. What the agents are in now.
പറയാനാണ് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ബൈൻഡിലൊക്കെ സേജിനെ എടുത്ത് കാണാം ടൂർണമെന്റ്.
കളിയല്ലയോ ഇത്ര സൗണ്ടാണ് ഇത്.
Well, certainly a couple of surprises there, Tom. I mean, I don't really know where to start. I mean, we got 4 players all going with different agents,
എന്റെ
but
മൈക്ക്
we don't
ഇൻപുട്ട്
even
വോളിയം
get
കുറയ്ക്കുക.
time to sit and dwell on that. We're jumping into map number 1.
ഡ്യുവൽ കൺട്രോളർ ആണല്ലോ അവന്മാര്.
With Acend versus
SuperMassiveBlaze. ഇവന്മാരും ഡ്യുവൽ കൺട്രോളർ.
the challengers game, and we started the same way here up behind SuperMassiveBlaze with a very different composition this time around.
എടാ എന്റെ കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല അവന്.
We don't either because I'm relatively quick pistol round, but the changes they made. The first one I want to point out is Turco on Sky. I don't think he's ever played Sky before, so this is something that they were prepping. They were planning. They knew they were up against Acend. They knew this is their best map. They have prepared very well for this matchup and come out with something completely different.
They're coming in flooding the map with information. Russ and Turco playing those Sky and comms can be dangerous. Already on the site here, Acend are going to be grabbing the plants. This is a strategy we've seen plenty over in EMEA at least. Coming out of bad, putting the wall down, and grabbing that post-plant position. Bone Cold trying to be sneaky up in the corner, but it looks like it's going to be a very delayed retake from SuperMassiveBlaze. Bone Cold just jumped on top of the wall. He's a madman.
Losing that early player could be a little bit more of a problem. They need to almost give space. What's happened? He's got a little bit lost in the mix, and somehow this has come back into a 3v2 scenario. The time ticking. They're just diffusing. It's left on the Starzo, but he finds himself all 3. What a start from Acend. He just gave them a few warning shots beforehand, Mitch.
Oh yeah, then the right clicks were coming in all day long. Wow. Starzo getting her hearts jumping a little bit, but coming out of the pistol now, Acend have that 1-0 advantage. We're starting this map out in identical form. I mean, last time around that they played this, it was 13-6 in favor of Acend. We had the pistol go their way and the follow-up, and SuperMassiveBlaze, who again have chosen to start on the defense, really weren't able to get the ball running last time around.
No, and they're playing up against a team who have an incredible attack on this map. Like, Acend have demolished the best of the best when it comes to buying, at least within their region. This is aggressive, though. They're almost just going to be feeding into killers in the early stages of this round. The B site completely open, and obviously Mitch are trying to make this one at least a little bit closer.
And look at the value of ult orbs over on Acend. They love farming up these rounds. Every single player is going to be bringing value to the table. In fact, Seeker is going to be online coming into round 3, and it might not be a showstopper or an orbital strike, but it certainly is something that can help out in making these bonus rounds that little bit more viable in certain situations.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be the Prime Gaming Flawless coming through. Definitely not going to be the most exciting replay you're going to see today, especially after the pistol round, but it's one where realistically keeping it as clean as possible now gives them everything they need to go into this round. And that's the thing, Seekers is one of those ultimates that in a bonus round could be super valuable. You can spot out any maybe weak pieces, get yourself an extra rifle here, and then it can be a real game changer for them.
Most definitely can. Now I'm spotting out those Astra stars in towards mid, but they're not really slowing anything down for Acend, quickly gaining control over Hookah. And as they come up through long, they lose a player. Sure, Izzy is low, but that's a trade that they're more than happy to make. Now the numbers thinned out on site, but still able to keep the kills going their way. Turco, caught by the flash, is going to be taken down, and now it gets dangerous, Tom. They can actually retrieve these weapons on site and have a much better chance of closing it out with the spike plants pretty much uncontested.
It's weird. It looked like SMB almost got baited in a little bit by those extra rotations and pulled things back at least a little bit more with the fact that they went through the TP and managed to still have 2 players on site. The res, though, has changed things a little bit. The perfect scenario for CNED is he gets kills, he gets a res, and now they have themselves a man advantage.
Exactly. That post-plant res coming through puts Acend way in the lead. The man advantage, the weapons retrieved. This was a bonus round, one that SuperMassiveBlaze wanted to get away with in relatively flawless fashion, and yet they struggled to even save a weapon. Izzy running for the hills towards the A site. This is a guaranteed third for Acend.
Yeah,
അസെന്റ് റിവെഞ്ചിന് കളിക്കുമ്പോൾ അസെന്റിനെ നേരത്തെ തോപ്പിച്ച കഴിഞ്ഞ വട്ടം ക്വാളിഫയേഴ്സിൽ.
സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് ജയിക്കുന്നു.
ആണ് സിമ്പിളായിട്ട്
അറിയാമല്ലോ, നല്ല
അവന്മാരെ
ടീം.
ഇതായിരുന്നു, സേവ് ആയിരുന്നു. ആ ബോണസ് റൗണ്ട് ആയിരുന്നു അത് വരെ വേണ്ട.
അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് ഒരു 5 കളിയിലും ജയിക്കണം.
അസെന്റിന്റെ ബെസ്റ്റ് ഇത് അറ്റാക്കിംഗ് ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു. മറ്റേമാർക്ക് വലിയ പ്രതീക്ഷയൊന്നും ഇല്ല.
കഴിഞ്ഞ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സിന്റെ അത്ര ഭയങ്കര വലിയ സ്റ്റേഡിയം അല്ല, ചെറുതാ.
പക്ഷെ സെറ്റപ്പ് എല്ലാം സെറ്റാണ്.
സെറ്റപ്പ് ഹോളോഗ്രാം ഉണ്ടോ?
അതാ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു, ഹോളോഗ്രാം ആണോ അത് ശരിക്കുള്ള, അതോ ഗ്രാഫിക്സ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ? അവന്മാര് പറയുന്നതനുസരിച്ച് ഹോളോഗ്രാം ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
കണ്ടിട്ട് ഹോളോഗ്രാം ആണല്ലോ.
അല്ല AI അല്ലെന്ന് മുമ്പേ അവന്മാര് പറഞ്ഞു കണ്ടോണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഈ സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസ് ഏത് റീജിയനാ? സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസ് ഏത് റീജിയനാ?
യൂറോപ്പ് അല്ലേ? അല്ലേ രണ്ടുപേരും ഒരു റീജിയൻ തന്നെ.
എനിക്ക് ബഫറിങ് വന്നു.
Playing an agent he has never played in an official before. You do that when you know, hey, everything we did last time sucked. It didn't work.
ഇപ്പോഴേ ടെക് ബോസ് ആയോ?
സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസ് നോക്കട്ടെ. ടർക്കി
I don't think we were surprised by Astra at all. There's been something that Brave has been more than competent on. And then obviously the switch from Sky to Sova for Russ is again, Sova is an agent which he has played almost religiously.
കഴിഞ്ഞോട്ട് എന്തുവായിരുന്നു ടെക് പോസോടെ ടെക് പോസ് ആയിരുന്നു.
He was also on a jet. So we've seen this team adapt a lot in the past. Like coming into this roster, we almost just went Russ and Izzy.
രണ്ടു വട്ടമല്ലേ, ഒരു ഹാഫില് പറഞ്ഞോ അങ്ങനെ കണ്ടല്ലേ?
അല്ല അത് അല്ലാത്ത ഇത് ടെക്നിക്കൽ പോസ്.
ഇത് ടെക്നിക്കൽ പോസ് അല്ലേ? നാശം.
ഇതാ നാശമാക്കുന്നത്.
നല്ല ടൈം എടുക്കും ചിലപ്പോ.
എടാ മെസ്സേജ് നോക്കടാ, സൗണ്ട് ഒക്കെ കൂട്ടാൻ പറ. കുഴപ്പമില്ല, അശ്വിജിത്ത് കറക്റ്റ്.
എന്റെ സൗണ്ട് കറക്റ്റ് ആണോ?
നിന്റെ കറക്റ്റ്.
This is where you're playing much more conservative because, for example, if a lot of your rounds are going to be based around pushing up through bat, you're not going to do that when they have specters in their hands. They can force those close range duels, take the number advantages.
ഇത് രണ്ടാമത്തെ ടൂർണമെന്റ്, അവസാനത്തെ ഫൈനൽ ടൂർണമെന്റ് ഉണ്ടോ?
ഇത് ഈ വർഷത്തെ ഇനി അവസാനത്തെ, ഇനിയും ഡയറക്റ്റ് ചാമ്പ്യൻസ് അടുത്തത് നവംബറിലോ അങ്ങാണ്ട്. ഇതാ ലാസ്റ്റ് ക്വാളിഫയിങ് ചാൻസ്. ഇതാ ക്വാളിഫയിങ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ലാസ്റ്റ് ചാൻസ്.
സെന്റിനൽസ് കിട്ടിയില്ലേ ഫൈനലിനകത്ത്?
സെന്റിനൽസിന് കഴിഞ്ഞ ഇത് ജയിച്ചപ്പോഴേ കിട്ടി അവർക്ക്. ചാമ്പ്യൻസ് ക്വാളിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം. ഇത്ര പോയിന്റ് വേണം ചാമ്പ്യൻസ് ക്വാളിഫൈ ചെയ്യാൻ. ആ പോയിന്റിന് വേണ്ടിയാ ഈ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സും ചലഞ്ചേഴ്സും എല്ലാം കളിക്കുന്നത്.
ഇവിടെ ജയിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വലിയ കാര്യമുണ്ട്.
അവർക്ക് വലിയ കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. ഇനി അവർ ക്വാളിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം, അവർ ചുമ്മാ കളിക്കുക.
അല്ല അതിനകത്ത് ഫൈനലിസ്റ്റ് രണ്ടുപേരും ക്വാളിഫൈ ആണോ അതോ ജയിച്ചവര് മാത്രമേ?
അല്ലല്ല, അത് ഇത്ര ഫൈനലിൽ ജയിച്ചാലും സെമി തോറ്റാലും ഇത്ര പോയിന്റ് വീതമുണ്ട്. ജയിച്ചവർക്ക് കൂടുതൽ അങ്ങനെ. പിന്നെ ഈ സെന്റിനൽസ് ആണെങ്കിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ലാൻ അല്ലായിരുന്നല്ലോ, അതും സെന്റിനൽസ് എങ്ങാണ്ടാ ജയിച്ചത്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെയും പോയിന്റ് ഉണ്ട്.
That's impressive. Yeah, they just looked at me and said, "Nah, don't bother. It's beyond salvage at this point."
Put a little bit on the eye. Everyone will look at that. Let's give him a really bright jumper so that nobody notices.
People look elsewhere. Exactly. Exactly. Man, there's so much to talk about in this series, though, thankfully. Obviously, we're starting on Bayern, as we've seen. And with this tech pause coming through, I'm wondering whether that's going to put SuperMassiveBlaze down in the dumps. So you come out of a tech pause, and it's not like, okay, guys, let's go now. It's like, oh, now it's time for Eco. You can see
അതെന്തേലും മൗസോ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ പ്രശ്നമുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും സ്വന്തം വാളത്തിനൊക്കെ കാണിക്കുന്നതുമാതിരി.
കഴിഞ്ഞ വട്ടമൊക്കെ കാല് പിടിച്ചോണ്ട് എഴുന്നൊക്കെ വരുന്നു.
അത് ഫെനാറ്റിക്സ്, അത് നല്ല രസമുണ്ട്. ഇത് ഏതാണ്ട് പോലുണ്ട്.
വേറെ ടീമുണ്ടല്ലോ മുടി വളർത്തിയത്.
ആ മാജിക് ഒക്കെ കാണിച്ചു അതല്ലേ?
ഹലോ ഹലോ ഗൈസ്.
ഹലോ, എല്ലാ സൗണ്ട് കൂടുതലാണ് നിന്റെ.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously we're talking about the top competition when it comes to EMEA, but their results haven't been particularly good. Like they've been playing against Gambit, who are a phenomenal team, took them to overtime, solid result, but at the same time you're now looking at a different beast completely. We talk about Turkish Acend as being, I would say, the best in the world. Like I would say the amount of teams that are good on that map from that region, and the only ones who have managed to beat them on that map are Turkish teams as well. Like let's put it this way, Gambit, very good Acend team. We almost mentioned that just a moment ago.
They did.
SMB 13-1 Gambit the last time they played that map. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to look at it and go that I would give this map heavily to Acend, the next map heavily to SMB.
Well, Tom, it looks like we're ready to get back into it. The Turkish throwdown starting off yet again, but unfortunately it won't be an action-packed round, or at least on paper it should be.
Has a rifle.
That's what I was going to say, right? SuperMassiveBlaze not going to be delving deep into their pockets for this one. This round should be a moneymaker for Acend, but when you look at SuperMassiveBlaze and you look at what they're investing, Izzy is really gambling on himself, getting a couple of kills and an ult orb so he can have that Blade Storm out in the next round. Let's see if he's going to get any value out of that.
It seems like they've also used Cora as a bit of a contingency plan, because one of the other things I wanted to bring up is the fact that I want to see an operator in hand. He's a complete game changer. He's someone who can get far more aggressive when he has that weapon in hand. It does look like, though, they're going to use the remainder of the players who don't currently have the weaponry as a bit of a bait and switch. So they'll take the initial shot, they'll take the bullet for their teammate if anybody goes in that direction. However, well, they're not.
Yeah, they're looking to pressure over towards the A site for now. Acend still leaving the door open, leaving themselves a couple of options in the early stages. A wall bang
A site കയറാനേ ഒറ്റയെടുത്തേ ഉള്ളൂ.
a couple of Viper walls at that.
ഇത് സ്മോക്കിന്റെ മേളേ.
I'm still confused as to what he just did. Zeke's just going to go blast packing through and find himself another. And unfortunately, the nice little bait and switch they had.
കിട്ടിയില്ല മർക്ക ഫസ്റ്റ് പിക്ക് വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്തു.
From behind with one gun. Not looking good.
രണ്ടിനെ കണ്ട്
പെട്ടെന്ന് കളറാ കിട്ടി.
അവന്മാര് ബോണസ് കളിക്കുക ബാക്കി. വേണ്ട അവന്മാരെ ബാക്ക് ആവിയായി ഇവിടുന്ന് എടുത്ത് നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ കിട്ടി, ടൈമിങ് പെർഫെക്റ്റ് തന്നെ കിട്ടും, മിക്കവാറും കിട്ടും. സീനട് ഇപ്പഴേ ഇട്ടില്ല.
അത് വരുന്നത്
Well, he's 8-1 in the first 4 rounds and currently with over 400 ACS. So it's going all right. I think he might be able to cope.
Yeah, it looks like he's feeling relatively comfortable. We're not even seeing him, pull out that operator.
He's not even on his favorite agent either.
Look at the cash, man. Look how many credits are stacked up. Now, Izzy coming in with the operator dropped over. He's one away from Blade Storm as well. This could be a strong round for him, but there's no opponents to take down. Bone Cold is faking out Hookah, making some presence, but it's the A side that Acend are looking keenly towards. They spotted that early flank that came through from SuperMassiveBlaze in the previous round when they pushed down through Hookah. Now they're hoping that beat pressure is going to get the same reaction out of the A players so they can punish them. But because of how advanced Izzy is, how far pushed down he is, that's not going to happen. And so SuperMassiveBlaze will just sit down, stay calm.
It's surprising, though, that I think the Flash has almost baited them into keeping 3 players on the B site, even though there is currently nobody there. The rotation will come in at least a little bit later, but Zeke is already making his move.
They're going to make their way onto the site.
മാർക്ക് വൈപ്പറും ആസ്ത്രയും ഉണ്ടായിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് സൈറ്റിൽ കയറുന്നു.
അല്ല ഇപ്പൊ പൊതുവെ അങ്ങനെ സെന്റിനൽ കളിക്കത്തില്ല ഇതിനകത്ത്, സേജ് ഒക്കെ മാത്രമേ കളിക്കത്തുള്ളൂ ബൈൻഡി. അപ്പൊ ബി സൈറ്റ് എങ്ങനെ ഡിഫെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാന്? നമുക്കേ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ പറ്റാത്തത്.
നമ്മുടെ
അവര്
ഫ്ലാങ്കും വിഷയമാണ്. ഹൈയിലാണേലും ഫ്ലാങ്ക് ഒക്കെ വന്ന് ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ അടിക്കത്തില്ല.
മുമ്പേ തന്നെ കണ്ടില്ലേ?
ഓക്കെ ബൈ.
എക്സിറ്റ് ഫ്രാഗ്
അവര് വെറുതെ റഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് എന്തോത്തിന് ഓപ്പറേറ്റർ അടുത്ത സേവിങ് ആയി.
5 മോട്ട ഒരു റൗണ്ട് പോലും ജയിക്കത്തില്ല ഇടവന്മാര്.
അടുത്ത
മാപ്പ് അവന്മാരുടെ വിക്ക അസെന്റ്.
3-4 കളി ജയിച്ചാൽ മതി തിരിച്ചു വരാം.
ഇവന്മാരുടെ ബെസ്റ്റ് അറ്റാക്കിങ് അസെന്റിന്റെ. അപ്പം ഡിഫെൻസ് എന്തുവാന്നോ. രണ്ടിനെയും കണ്ടു.
തൃപ്തിയായിരിക്കും. രണ്ട് വിക്കറ്റ് എടുത്തു കൊടുത്ത്.
റസ് എടുത്താണ്ട് ട്രേഡ് ഔട്ട് ആയി ഫുള്ള്. വേണ്ട ഒരു വെക്ടർ ഒരു വാൻഡലും ഒരു ഷെറിഫും. ബാക്കി രണ്ടുപേർക്കും വാൻഡൽ. ഞാനൊന്ന് റീഫ്രഷ് ചെയ്യട്ടെ, എനിക്ക് ഇടയ്ക്കൊന്ന് ലാഗായ.
The thing is, when they were walking around that corner, I was 100% confident he was at least going to get one. This man with the pistol is just unbelievable. Even ends up missing the first player. But I also like the fact that he just uses the ultimate just to run away, because he covers himself and then just goes. Like, it's not something that you'd normally see a player do, because well, he basically just wasted an ult just to escape. But it's worth it in that scenario to stay alive. It's the percentage play, and it's so smart. That's one of the things you definitely won't see in your ranked, right? Here comes a poison walking out towards Lamps. Acend really want to put some pressure towards SuperMassiveBlaze's A defense. And you can see the utility that's being put out on the other side. You've got Astra Stars used up, a drone making its way in towards Bath. They are very worried about this crunch in towards A. But Acend are slowing it down yet again. Look at where CNET is. The man is in their spawn watching for flanks. The timing is not quite working out from Izzy.
എന്തായാലും അവിടെ ഇട്ടിട്ട് പോയോ? എന്ത് ഏതാണ്ട് എടുക്കാൻ പോയതുപോലെ പോകുന്നു. തിരിച്ച് അവിടെ വരെ ഓടിയിട്ട് തിരിച്ചൊക്കെ വരും.
ഫ്ലാഗ് നോക്കാനായിരിക്കും.
എന്തേലും മറന്നു പോയി.
നിന്റെ സൗണ്ട് കൂടുതലാടാ അശ്വിനസ്. അത് വേണ്ട, മോണിന്ന് വരുന്നുണ്ട് അളിയൻ.
Absolutely massive post plant, no longer to be played with, but unfortunately really needed a pick in that situation. Now all that's left to do is to save yet again for Izzy. That operator too valuable to throw away on a 1v2 with such limited time. And we will see another round for Acend. They have bounced right back. In fact, it looks like they're even trying to hunt him down, but not going the right way. I think there needs to be a change on the
അടുത്ത മാപ്പാ കാണേണ്ടത്.
that is now every single time like that
മാപ്പ് കാണാൻ രസമില്ല. അടുത്ത അസെൻഡ്.
they pushed it all the way up.
അതിനകത്ത് ജെറ്റാ സീനുണ്ട്.
Any sort of rotation.
മോനെ പൊളിയാണ്. ഓപ്പെടുത്ത് ഡിഫെൻഡിങ് ആളി വീക്ക് വിടും. അങ്ങനെ ഓപ്പെടുത്ത് റീടേക്ക് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്.
ഈ പ്രോ മാച്ചിലൊക്കെ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ല എയിം ഉണ്ട്. എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ല, പക്ഷെ സ്ട്രാറ്റജിയിലാണ് കളി ജയിക്കാൻ തോക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സൈറ്റ് പിടിക്കുന്നത്
കുറെ ലക്കും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ട്.
കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് കളിക്കുമ്പോ അതിന്റെ ഗുണമുണ്ട്.
അവിടാണ് സെന്റിനൽസ്
സെന്റിനൽസ് അങ്ങനെ അധികം ചിന്തിക്കാൻ അടിപൊളിയായിരുന്നു. ഫേക്ക് ഫ്ലാഷ് വന്നിട്ട് നൈഫ്.
In the last Acend basically committed a lot of their valuable ultimates. So we're still in a spot where realistically Hunter's Fury could be put into play just to get this one over the line.
കുമാർ അസെന്റിന്റെ കളി കണ്ടിട്ട് സെന്റിനൽസ് കളിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. നേരെ എന്നങ്ങ് അടിക്കും.
This Acend have actually done so well. They've just slowed down. They've not been over aggressive. They've not tried to play off a lot of those opening picks that they've been finding. They're just ready for their opponents to try and get a little bit more aggressive and try and catch them with their pattern down.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. You saw that flash play picking up the poison orb, but okay, they have the wall. The wall is going up to allow them to back out. Stars are going to tank a little bit of this snake.
എല്ലാരും
ഓക്കെ
സ്ലോ മോളി.
Connecting on 2 HP. The man has survived. 2v2 commences. Acend still looking to get that plant in play.
I'm surprised more didn't come from the Hunter's Fury. Like they did a little bit of damage, but the fact
Ain't
that
that
one of the
JP come
players
on,
actually stuck. Brave though has come through, and it's on to this man once again. Acend to try and clutch it up, but it'll be Rust to take it away. A big round from SuperMassiveBlaze again. Multiple ultimates. At least they've got a second round on the board.
Well, that's it. They're grinding these rounds out. It's feeling very reminiscent of the previous game. Just a consistent string of rounds for Acend with SuperMassiveBlaze every now and then picking up their one, but they're in close fashion. They're in these 2v2s where combined, I think Acend had like 75 HP, and they barely get it across the line. I think CNET being up on top for 1 second extra.
കണ്ണൊക്കെ വരുത്തുള്ളൂ.
അതായിരുന്നു വേണ്ടത്.
അല്ല അത് കാണത്തില്ല, കാരണം റൂയിനേഷൻ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു ഈ എന്താ സെന്റിനൽസിന്. അപ്പൊ ഈ ചിലതൊക്കെ അൺലോക്ക് ആകാതായിരിക്കും വരുന്നത്. അത് ടെൻസ് ഇല്ല സ്ട്രീമിനകത്ത് പറഞ്ഞത് അവന് റൂയിനേഷൻ അൺലോക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുത്തില്ല. അങ്ങനെ അത് അവൻ അൺലോക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുത്തില്ലെന്ന്. അപ്പൊ ചിലപ്പോ ഓരോ അക്കൗണ്ടിന് ഓരോന്നായിരിക്കും. ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞ വട്ടത്തെ അക്കൗണ്ട് അല്ല, ഐസ്ലൻഡിൽ അക്കൗണ്ട് അല്ല ഇത്. എല്ലാം പുതിയ അക്കൗണ്ട് എല്ലാവർക്കും. അവനപ്പം എന്ത് മറ്റേ ഈഗോ ഗോസ്റ്റ് എങ്ങാണ്ട് എടുത്തിട്ടേക്കുന്നത്. അവൻ സ്കിൻ റിവീല് കാണിക്കും. അവൻ ഫുള്ള് റെഡ് ഇട്ടാ കളിക്കുന്നത്. അതല്ല അവന്റെ ആ ഒരു കോംബോയ്ക്ക്
അവന് റെഡ് ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഫേവറേറ്റ് കളർ റെഡ്. അതിലെ സെന്റിനൽസ് കയറി പിടിച്ചു.
കാര്യമില്ല, എക്സെറ്റ് ഫ്ലാഗ് ഒന്നും എടുത്തിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യത്തെ കൂടുതൽ പൈസ.
ഇനിയിപ്പോ എത്രാമത്തെ സേവാണ് ഈസി.
പോരാ, അവനങ്ങോട്ട് അഗ്രസീവ് കളിക്കാനില്ല. അവനെ പൂട്ടു. അവൻ ആദ്യമേ തന്നെ കൈയുടെ യൂട്ടിലിറ്റി ഉപയോഗിച്ച് പോകും.
Just how good their retake was there. They managed to pick this team apart. A team that was in a 5 versus 3 with the spike planted, and they only got out with 1 player alive. That is huge for SuperMassiveBlaze. The problem is, they need to do that earlier.
Yeah, and they need to do it when it's not going to obliterate their own economy as
Partial buy.
മറ്റേ തന്നെയുള്ള സേവ് പിന്നെ ഫാക്ടറിനുള്ള കാശേ ഉള്ളായിരുന്നു എൻ്റെ.
ഈ ജെറ്റ് ഫസ്റ്റ് പിക്ക് കറക്റ്റ് എടുക്കാതെ വലിയ കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല.
മെയിൻ ഒന്നും പീക്ക് പോലും കൊടുക്കുന്നില്ല അവന്മാർ. എയിലാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു, സ്പൈക്ക് എയിൽ കിടന്നാ കറങ്ങുന്നത്.
ഇവിടെ നിന്നിട്ട് കാര്യം പാസീവായിട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് അമ്മമാര് കയറുവാണെ കറക്റ്റ് ഫ്ലാഷ് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിട്ടേ കയറത്തുള്ളൂ. ഓക്കെ ബൈ.
കണ്ടില്ലയോടാ അവന്?
ഒത്തിരി കോണ്ടാക്ട്
അവന്റെ യൂട്ടിലിറ്റി യൂസ് കണ്ട സീനറ്റിന്റെ ഒരു പിക്ക് എടുത്ത് ഉടനെ അടുത്ത സ്ലോ ആരും ബിസി ആയിരിക്കും.
അവനങ്ങനെ കളിക്കുന്ന അവന്റെ സ്ട്രീം മൊത്തം അങ്ങനെയാണ്. അവന് സ്പ്ലിറ്റില് സ്റ്റേജ് കളിക്കുന്ന കാണണം. ഓപ്പ് എടുക്കും, ഓപ്പ് എടുത്തിട്ട് ഒരു കില്ലെടുത്തിട്ട് അപ്പൊ തന്നെ സ്ലോവർ വിടും, രണ്ടാമത്തെ കില്ലെടുത്തിട്ട് വീണ്ടും സ്ലോവർ വിടും.
പിന്നെ സേവ് പോകുമായിരിക്കും.
ഇനി ആ പോയിസണെ കാണാൻ തൊട്ടാ കഴിഞ്ഞു. എന്താ കാണിക്കാൻ ഈ ഹൈപ്പർ പിറ്റി ഓപ്പറേറ്റർ ഇട്ട് സേവ് ചെയ്തല്ലേ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. ഈ സേവ് ചെയ്താൽ ഓടിക്കും. അത് കണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നൈസായിരുന്നു, ചാടി ചാടി. യാമ്പി എങ്ങാണ്ട് ചെയ്തില്ലയോ? നൈസായിരുന്നു.
ചാടി വന്ന് റൈറ്റ് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് യാമ്പി അങ്ങ് കുനിഞ്ഞു.
We'll see how G2 do in this tournament. I think that'll be the true test of both of these rosters. But this one has made Acend look so much.
360 അടിച്ചു.
ബ്ലൈൻഡ് ആകാതിരിക്കാനാ കണ്ടത്. അതെ, ഇത് സ്ലോവർ ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു കേട്ടോ. അവിടെ ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ അതിനു വേണ്ടിയായിരുന്നു. ശരിയാ, കൺട്രോളർ മാത്രം മതി ബി നോക്കാനേ.
മിക്കവാറുള്ളവരെല്ലാം മൈൻഡില് സോവ എടുക്കാതെ കളിക്കത്തില്ല. മെയിനായിട്ട് സോവ
അമ്മമാർക്ക് സ്കൈ ഉണ്ട്. മറ്റേമാർക്ക് ഡ്യുവൽ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റർ, ഡ്യുവൽ കൺട്രോളർ. അതുകൊണ്ട് അവന്മാർക്ക് അങ്ങനെ സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസിന് ഡ്യുവൽ കൺട്രോളർ, ഡ്യുവൽ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റർ, ഒറ്റ ഡ്യുവലിസ്റ്റ്. രണ്ട് ടീമിലും ഒറ്റ ഡ്യുവലിസ്റ്റേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Paura's left alone. That was a chance and opportunity for SuperMassiveBlaze, but again, Acend step it up to claim a 9th.
എന്ത് വയ്ക്കാന്
2-0 കളിയായിരിക്കും.
സീനയുടെ സ്റ്റേജ് അന്തോണല്ല, അവന് കൊറേയൊക്കെ ലേറ്റ് ആക്കും ഡിഫെൻഡിങ്ങില്.
They adapt, and that's one of the things I can tell you. Watching that,
I've seen
like Alliance versus BDS, and I saw so many things. There were little mistakes that happened on the other side, but they would then go, "Oh, okay, I kind of messed this up. But what can we do with it? How can we make this work to our advantage?" And Acend are one of the best teams in the world at making that happen. This time, the aggression through Hookah is finally going to come through, and Izzy's able to claim the first before going down. With a huge whiff, and that could cost them massively. Hunter's Fury connecting quite a few.
അവന് ഓപ്പറേറ്റ് എടുത്താലും അടിക്കത്തില്ല.
And again, it's going to have to be a retake with a man disadvantage.
പ്രഷർ കാരണമായിരിക്കും.
SuperMassiveBlaze ആദ്യമായിട്ടാണ് തോന്നുന്നല്ലേ?
ആ പുതിയ ടീമാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. അവർ ഈയിടയ്ക്ക് പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടു. ആ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ ഇൻട്രോയിൽ പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടു. ഇവന്മാരുടെ കാര്യമാണെന്ന് അറിയത്തില്ല.
എന്താ പറഞ്ഞു വരുന്നത്?
Well, we have seen
SuperMassiveBlaze
make some drastic changes. And so far, Tom, I think it's fair to say it has not worked out. 2 rounds at the halftime. This is going to be
pistol round വിട്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ് ഇവന്മാരുടെ. Pistol round കിട്ടിയ
കഴിഞ്ഞ പിസ്റ്റൽ റൗണ്ട് അങ്ങാണ്ട് ഒരു കില്ലും കണ്ടേ ഉള്ളായിരുന്നു ഇവന്മാർ.
പിസ്റ്റൽ റൗണ്ട് കിട്ടിയ ഒരു റൗണ്ടോട് അവർക്ക് പിടിക്കും. 4-10 ആക്കാം. പിന്നെ വിന്നബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. പിസ്റ്റൽ റൗണ്ട് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഉറപ്പിക്കാം.
Who is waiting around to give us a little bit more context. So if that's available to us, I don't know, should we give it over?
Well, you know what? Why not? We've got Bala over on the IBS. He's ready to give us some beautiful rundowns. Let's see what he's got for us.
Oh, guys, I got plenty. This is ridiculous. I don't know how we're starting here. This is probably the scary. Firing on all cylinders for this first half. Let's take a look at the pistol. We're going to hop into Telestration on the mini-map because they have 3 different Viper walls. You can see I labeled this Acend's Viper walls. 3 different Viper walls. The first one is actually uncommon. It goes right across the site. That allows them to get through into the cubby and through out of bathroom as well. And that forces players to actually try to play in front down the line. But the other ones, the common ones, you go across lamps, that's actually a circle. We got the one that goes across lamps and then the other one that they use like that. So let's go ahead and roll the clip and talk about basically how they control this. CNED grabs the orb in bathroom all the way back here in the beginning of the round, and that's important. Starkso is going to plant the spike all the way back there as well, and they get the wall out, the sage wall perfectly across. Watching the flank, Keyless as well. Really, they have nothing to do because they all stayed behind this Viper wall, behind the entire thing, so they have to push through at a certain time, and then eventually Russ is trying to push through in the middle of the site, and there's no Sage wall blocking him. Brave doesn't know what to do with his Asher smokes. They don't know where the spike is, and that's when this happens from Starkso.
വിഫ് അത് കണ്ടില്ലേ ആദ്യം? അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ അവൻ വന്ന് അടിച്ചിട്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ റൈറ്റ് ക്ലിക്കോടെ കണ്ട്
smoke and then popped a couple with his classic. That is ridiculous, and we'll see how that actually conditions them when we go back to the map in the second round. Let's go ahead and get to the second clip because it's a different type of situation here. They're playing actually over towards the B site, and this is the third round. They've set this wall again, and I want you to see how the opposing team is playing this. Let me get my free hand. You can go ahead and roll the clip. Let me get my Viper wall up again. Keyless has to play up front bathroom. He's trying to control that over. Meanwhile, they're going to go ahead and pressure Izzy, who gets 1 kill onto Bone Cold, and he falls all the way back into that teleporter. He has to rotate so far away, forces the 3 versus 2, and they jump out trade perfectly. Starkso on the site. He gets 1 kill. CNED gets another. He gets the orb, and he already has his ult. This is unbelievable from CNED. We'll continue to watch this because this is ridiculous. The eco frags that he got the round before, and then the rounds that they continue on with different Viper walls that really forces them. The wall comes up, the res comes in, and the round is basically locked up. We'll continue to see this on Bind because this is seriously a very important theme that we'll see with Ascend's Bind and also Sentinel. So in this second half, we'll see if SMB can contend, but I don't think so, boys.
I like that. You see that at the end? And also Sentinels, by the way. Just see, he had to put that in. He had to, yeah. Summon A team. It doesn't matter. We're here to see the real champion.
Enough
We're going to go back.
Enough. We don't need any more Bala. We need more game. There's
More
a second
game.
half, guys.
Exactly.
Come on. We can't give him all the limelight. Like, a beautiful man, but we want to get back into what matters.
Exactly. Caster, start game.
Start
game. We'll be doing that in about 18 seconds. It's 10-2 at the halftime, and Acend have been looking incredible on their attack. Now they swap over to the defense. Let's keep in mind as well, SuperMassiveBlaze opted to start in that defense. They made a lot of changes to their composition. And like we said, they've really seen a lot from it so far.
Maybe it's pretty good on the attack. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Got to be a little bit hopeful in these sort of scenarios. A lot of aggression again. This is something that we're going to see an awful lot when it comes to this side of Iron. Zeke looking almost to battle initially, but is held back, and of course they've got their own screen, which just gives them the ability to not only flash through, but go for these cheeky peeks and then fall back again.
pistol round is always paced pretty quickly from what we've seen so far. SuperMassiveBlaze, though, slowed down by some early peaks by utility, like that nade coming down on long, but they will still ultimately look to finish on the B side. There is a three-man stack here.
അവർക്ക് റേസ് ഒന്നും ഇല്ലാത്ത ഭയങ്കര ഒരു റേസ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ബാക്ക് സൈഡ് ഒക്കെ സ്പോട്ട് ക്ലിയർ പിന്നെ ആസ്ത്ര ഉണ്ട് പക്ഷെ ഓ നൈസ്
ചത്ത് കടന്ന് കളിക്കുക
that SuperMassiveBlaze desperately needed if they're to have any shot of taking this map and
2v4.
making a massive comeback. And now they're in a 4v2 that they surely can't lose.
Nice.
It's going to matter too much, though. Only one man standing, and Acend will fall.
Round 1 confidence നോക്കാം അറ്റാക്കിംഗ് ഫസ്റ്റ് റൗണ്ട് കൊള്ളാം.
It just goes straight through, it just kills everyone. A sick pistol from him. I will say the pop flash coming out from Turco was just on point.
Viper ഒക്കെ ഇനിഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഫൈറ്റിലോട്ട്.
Anything done. And that, but
ആ ഫ്ലാഷ് കണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കറക്റ്റ് ഫ്ലാഷ്. കറക്റ്റ് അവിടെ മിന്നി.
കറക്റ്റ് ഇറങ്ങണം അല്ലേ? ഇറങ്ങാൻ ബ്ലൈൻഡ് ആയിട്ടിരിക്കും.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, we said it before we started. You were saying it, Thomas. This is the first time ever playing this
same strategy
in an official game.
I hope that's right.
സോവയുടെ ഗുണമില്ല പെട്ടെന്ന് ലോങ് കൺട്രോൾ എടുക്കാം.
When it comes to Acend right now, they've got 10 rounds. They're not going to be too worried. This should be an easy farm up for the SuperMassiveBlaze side. It's all just classics, a few sheriffs here and there. Zeke good to take down one, but he'll be traded out nicely right afterwards. And
2v4.
don't really want to lose any more bodies in this.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to have too much cost when it comes to their bonus round, especially when you consider that there really isn't much invested into this at all. Still fairly tentative from SuperMassiveBlaze. They've won the early duels. They don't really need to take too many risks, and I think the only way that they make some serious mistakes is just by not checking their corners, which, you know what, after killing that many players, I don't know if they'll necessarily expect killers to be here. That flash, however, gives the game away.
I like the little Starzo getting a taste of his own medicine, really, right? We saw in round 3 the same thing happen to him that he inflicted on SuperMassiveBlaze when he flashed out and they managed to make it work with the weaker weapons, and now he's really starting to feel like, are really starting to get a taste of what it's like to play against these Sky players when they're flashing through your smokes. You're never safe.
Yeah, for sure. I think Starzo as well has been one of the players that I think I've enjoyed watching most on Sky, especially from EMEA. I think you can put people like Solcast also within that bracket. I think he's almost, it's like an evolution of Solcast playing that agent. But I also really enjoy watching Ethan play. So I'm hoping
പയ്യന്റെ പേര് പറഞ്ഞ കേട്ടോ.
later on in the tournament, of course, that does
Ethan.
revolve around certain teams qualifying to the
100 എങ്ങനാ?
especially within
100 രാത്രി 12
100 കേറില്ലെന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു നിഗമനം.
100 ഒറ്റ ടീമിനെ തോൽപ്പിക്കണം, അത് ഇച്ചിരി വിഷയമാണ്.
ആരുമായിട്ട് തന്നെ 100
ഇന്ന്
മൂന്നാമത്തെ വട്ടം പൊട്ടാൻ പോകും.
നല്ല ടീം.
എത്രാമത്തെ ചാൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു സെന്റിനൽസുമായിട്ട്? നാലാമത്തെ.
100 സെന്റിനൽസിനെ ആകെ തോൽപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത് ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്ട്രൈക്കിലാണ്. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഇന്നേ വരെ തോൽപ്പിച്ചിട്ടില്ല.
അത് സിനാട്ര അല്ലായിരുന്നോ? സിനാട്ര ഉള്ളത്.
ഓക്കെ നടന്നടിക്കും.
എടാ ഇൻഫോ കൊടുത്തില്ലേ ക്ലോസ് ആളുണ്ടെന്ന്?
സോമ എന്താ കാണിച്ചത്?
Okay, bye.
exactly to plan. Just popped in his teammate's face.
They come. Here they come.
Are they all going to go
They're
through
rallying through. This is going to be a team dropping pistols in just to let them know we're on our way, buddy. There's a couple of us who want to say hi to you. And a flash comes over. They haven't followed through. They're waiting. The second flash.
വാൻഡലൊക്കെ വീഴുന്നു.
കളിയാക്കുന്നു.
ആളെ വടിയാക്കുന്നു.
തോക്ക് വേണ്ടേ?
എടാ അവിടെ ഉണ്ടറാ അമ്മാരുടെ തോക്കുണ്ട്.
അതെടുത്തെറിയുന്നേ.
അതാ ഒരെണ്ണം കൊടുത്ത് എടുത്തോളാനെന്ന്.
തോക്കെടുക്കുന്നില്ലയോ?
എടുത്ത്
എന്നാ പിടിച്ചോ.
ഒരെണ്ണം അടുത്ത കളി എടുത്തോളായിരുന്നു. ആ വാൻഡിലിട്ട് അവൻ കളി മാറ്റണം.
ആ മാച്ചിൽ വെച്ച് അവൻ ഏസ് എടുക്കണം.
Mitch's dream, just Reaver Vandals coming through the teleport. Please give me one.
അപമാനിക്കുവാണല്ലോ.
അതെ.
അപമാനിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞെങ്കിൽ പോവാം.
It's 11-4 right now. Acend bounced right back, but SuperMassiveBlaze did keep their economy relatively in check. One player can't buy, but it's Izzy. And of course, you already heard, he doesn't want any people in his way. He called it out right at the start. Blade Storm's online.
Already though, an early lockdown of the hookah position leaves this as a bit of an awkward attack spot. Now, they've taken a lot of control in towards long, but again, we're going to see this early three-man stack into the B site. The remaining players just waiting patiently, still having the screen as an opportunity to back off. Cned, he's going hunting. He's facing into Brave.
അത്രയും ക്ലോസ് അത്രയും ക്ലോസിലായിരിക്കുമെന്ന് പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചിട്ട് അതാണ് അത്രയും താത്ത് പിടിച്ചത്.
കേറി അങ്ങ് ചെല്ലുക.
Just completely running over them and finding that B site with ease. Two players left, Zeke and Killez, and they will be looking to save, maybe find some exits along the way.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the being healed up, but there was about 4 players around 20 to 50 HP, so it was a little bit closer for Acend, but yeah.
ആരാ കില്ലല്ലേ എടുത്ത്? ഞാൻ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചില്ല.
For SuperMassiveBlaze winning those
ആ വാൻഡിലുകാരനാണോ?
ഐശ്വര്യമില്ല വാൻഡലായോണ്ട് ടെലിപ്പോർട്ട് കൊടുത്താൻ കൊടുത്തേ.
അവിടെ വിളിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു.
SuperMassiveBlaze definitely not back on the board yet, but there could come a time where Acend will regret throwing those Vandals through the teleporter.
Yeah, for sure. I won't say it was necessarily the difference maker in this round, but a nigh on flawless round coming through from SuperMassiveBlaze, so they're going to be in a very good spot financially for this one. They can get those few extra upgrades they need, of course. Izzy not actually having a gun in the last spot, but if they can win this round, then yeah, they're going to be able to at least have a chance to fight this one back. Of course, there's always going to be a play being made. It's going to be a line, but he might need to bring himself back. Never mind. Cned, while dodging every single bullet, has found one through the smoke. Bear in mind, he's using
കറക്റ്റ് എവിടെ വെടി വെക്കുന്നത്.
നടുക്ക് രണ്ട് സൈഡിലോട്ട് വെടിയുണ്ട പോയി.
അത് വാൻഡലിട്ട്.
Stripping him of his armor, and Cned still looking to go forward. 15 health off him, no armor to play with, no shields whatsoever, but he does not give a damn. Now here comes the Viper Horde. It's going to be blocking off any sort of impact from Bone Cold. Starzo spraying it. Oh, Bone Cold, he's walking into it, and that gives him away. Horror's going to just hunt him down right afterwards, tickles him up,
Take
but
it out
somehow
and
doesn't take
don't
him
let him
down, and Bone Cold wins that fight. Low on HP, healed right back up. SuperMassiveBlaze are finding it hard to get any ground. Eventually, Cned will fall, but there is so much left to do.
I've been gobsmacked.
രണ്ട് വിക്കറ്റ് എടുത്തിട്ട് പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്താലേ എന്തെങ്കിലും കാര്യം മറ്റേ സുഖമായിട്ട് റീടേക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ട്.
Then the other is just a battle that I would have bet a lot on Pora winning that one. Instead, they're going to try to go for the rotation, and although there's currently nobody in the area other than Zeke, who's a little bit further behind, it's still going to be a real issue for them. The rotation already coming in. I think the teleporter actually ended up as a bit more of a burden than anything else, but they might not expect 2 players, and I don't think it's going to matter.
രണ്ടുപേരെയും കൊല്ലാതെ
advantage, and Acend are 1 round away from taking them.
Acend reaching 12. I mean, this
much point.
I can't say it's a surprising yeah, it's just ridiculous. Last time we saw these teams play, we ended up in a position
ഇവനെ കുട്ടിനൊന്നും കൊള്ളുന്നില്ല. അപ്പത്തെ എല്ലാം കൊള്ളുന്നുണ്ട്.
അവന്റെ സ്ട്രെച്ച് വേണ്ട സ്ക്രീനിന്റെ.
അവന്റെ മാത്രമല്ല.
എടാ മെസ്സേജ് നോക്കിയാടാ.
There are a couple of weaknesses there for Acend when it comes to Acend. And I think in particular, looking at their games versus Illuminar, G2, these are that playstyle-wise, I can
Even
definitely see
defensive operator ആണെന്നില്ല അന്നേരം attacking operator.
I think as well that SuperMassiveBlaze are going to be fine going against that map. I would say it's their best map, so realistically they're going to be incredibly.
ഇതിലും വർക്കൗട്ട് ആവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇത് വെച്ച്
അടി 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 തലയിരുന്ന് ക്രോസ് ചെയ്ത് പോവുക അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും. ആ സ്മോക്ക് വീണ ഇച്ചി ലേറ്റ് ആയിപ്പോയി. ആ അവൻ ചത്തു. കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഓക്കെ നെക്സ്റ്റ് മാപ്പ് മാറ്റ്. അത് മാപ്പ് വിടാം. അതാ സറണ്ടർ അടിച്ച് പോകും.
തിരിച്ചു വരും പരിപാടി.
ഓഹോ അതുണ്ട് അത് കൊള്ളാം.
സ്ക്രീനിന്റെ മണ്ടയ്ക്കാ മാതിരി ഇരിക്കുന്നത്. അതാണ്ട് സ്ക്രീൻ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂടാ.
അത് കൊള്ളാം നൈസ്. ജയിച്ചവർക്ക്
ഇതൊക്കെ എന്ത് അടുത്ത മാപ്പം അടിച്ചത് നോക്കണം.
ബോൺ കോൾ.
They show up the way that we hoped they would, the way that we expected them to. Now the question is, looking at map 2, can they do the same?
ഇവർ രണ്ടുപേരും ഈ റെസിപ്പാണ് കളിക്കുന്നത്.
But when it came to aim, when it came to these duels, they had absolutely no problem. They breezed through.
Yeah, no, this was an incredible.
ബെർലിനിലൊന്നും ഒരു വിഷയമില്ല വലുതായിട്ട്. എല്ലാരും വലിയ കോവിഡ് ഒന്നും വലിയ വിഷയമില്ലെന്തോ.
അല്ല പ്രസ് കോൺഫറൻസിനൊക്കെ ഫുള്ള് മാസ്ക് ഒക്കെ വെച്ചോണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
ബെർലിനിൽ നിന്നുള്ള മറ്റേ സെന്റിനൽസിന്റെ ഒക്കെ ഫോട്ടോ ഒക്കെ അവന്മാരും ഇട്ടിട്ട് ചുറ്റിനുള്ളവന്മാരൊന്നും അങ്ങനെ കണ്ടിട്ട്.
നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടെ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ 10,000 കേസൊക്കെ. കൊള്ളാം ഈ റസ് കൊള്ളാമല്ലോ ഞാൻ വെച്ച് നോക്കട്ടെ.
ഏത് റീജിയനിലുള്ള ടീമാണ്?
EU. And talking about SuperMassiveBlaze on this map, a lot of the time when you get slapped like this in a map to start out the series, you're going to have teams who are starting to really get themselves down. You know, it does not feel nice to lose in this fashion, but the reality is they know when it comes to bind, Acend are one of the best, and SuperMassiveBlaze don't quite match up. They saw it last time in EMEA Challengers. They've seen it here now.
Acendന്റെ പിക്ക് അമ്മാര് കറക്റ്റ് സ്ട്രാറ്റജി ആയിട്ട് വന്ന മാപ്പാണ്.
അമ്മാരുടെ ബെസ്റ്റ് മാപ്പ് ബൈൻഡ്.
അടുത്ത ജിഎംബിയുടെ പിക്കല്ലേ ജിഎംബി അസെൻഡി അസെൻഡിനെ തോപ്പിച്ചതാ ക്വാളിഫയേഴ്സ്.
അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പിന്നെ ഐസ് ബോക്സ്.
അസെൻഡ് ജയിക്കാനാണ് ചാൻസ്, പക്ഷെ ഒരു ടൈറ്റ് മാച്ച് ആയിരിക്കും എന്നാണ് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നത്.
വലിയ ഇതൊന്നും ഇല്ലെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു SuperMassiveBlaze.
അമ്മാര് പക്ഷെ അമ്മാരുടെ ക്വാളിഫൈഡ് എല്ലാത്തിനെയും അടിച്ച് മൂത്ത് വിട്ടതാ. അസെൻഡിനെ തോപ്പിച്ച്
we still need to find out if that's going to be the case. We're going to go to a commercial. When we come back, the desk will be breaking down the next map. We'll see you back here real soon for map number 2.
to Masters Berlin, where Acend have taken map 1 over SMB. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm joined back on the desk by Sean and Kakuka. You guys,
ഈ പുതിയ മാപ്പിനെ കുറിച്ച് നിങ്ങളുടെ അഭിപ്രായം എന്താ?
they finally done it. They got that out the way. And who knew
ഇവിടെ ഇത് എന്തായാലും സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസിന്റെ വിക്കല്ലയോ, അപ്പം അവരിൽ നിന്ന് ഒന്നുകൂടെ നല്ലതായിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കും.
നീ പുതിയ മാപ്പെന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ച് വാലറിന്റെ ഇറക്കിയ പുതിയ മാപ്പാണെങ്കിൽ ഇവര് കളിക്കാൻ പോകുന്ന അടുത്ത മാപ്പിന്റെ കാര്യമാണോ?
ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് വാലറിന്റെ
അങ്ങനെ അതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഡിഫൻഡേഴ്സ് നടുക്കാ സ്പോണാണ്, അറ്റാക്കേഴ്സ് രണ്ട് സ്പ്ലിറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് സ്പോണാണ്. അപ്പം ആ മാപ്പ് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇപ്പം ഞങ്ങൾ കളിച്ച എൻ്റെ ഒരു അഭിപ്രായത്തിലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് കളിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു അറ്റാക്കർ സൈഡ് മാപ്പും ആണ്, ഒരു ഡിഫൻഡർ സൈഡ് മാപ്പും ആണ്. ഡിഫൻഡേഴ്സിന് എളുപ്പം റൊട്ടേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം, സൈറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് വലിയ ദൂരമില്ല, മിഡിലാണ് ഡിഫൻഡർ സ്പോണാണ്. അപ്പം രണ്ട് സൈഡിലോട്ട് റൊട്ടേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേറൊരു എളുപ്പമാണ്. 10 സെക്കൻഡിനുള്ളിൽ നമുക്ക് അപ്പുറത്ത് സൈറ്റ് ചെന്ന് കഴിയാം. അപ്പം രണ്ട് സൈഡിൽ നിന്ന് പിഞ്ചാകാതെ ഒരു സൈഡിലോട്ടുള്ള എൻട്രി നോക്കാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല അറ്റാക്കേഴ്സിന്. രണ്ട് സൈഡ് കളിച്ച്
വലിയ പിടുത്തം കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല മാപ്പ്. അപ്പുറത്തോട്ട് നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ ഇപ്പുറത്തോട്ട് വന്നടിക്കും, അപ്പുറം ഇപ്പുറം നോക്കുമ്പോൾ പുറകിൽ വന്നടിക്കും.
നമുക്ക് അറ്റാക്ക് സമയത്ത് തന്നെ രണ്ട് സൈഡിൽ നമുക്ക് അറ്റാക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഒരു മാപ്പ് ഒരു സൈറ്റിലോട്ട് 4 എൻട്രിയാ അറ്റാക്കേഴ്സിനുള്ളത്. കറക്റ്റ് കളിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അടിപൊളി മാപ്പായിരിക്കും, കളിക്കാൻ അറിയാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
അപ്പം ഏതൊക്കെ ഏജന്റ് ആയിരിക്കും അവിടെ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ വയബിള്?
ഡ്യുവൽ സെന്റിനൽ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത്രയും നല്ലത്. പിന്നെ കൺട്രോളർ എന്തെങ്കിലും പെട്ടെന്ന് ബ്രിംസ്റ്റോൺ നല്ല മാപ്പാണ്, കാരണം ബ്രിംസ്റ്റോണിന് പെട്ടെന്ന് സ്മോക്ക് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഇതുണ്ട്. ബ്രിംസ്റ്റോൺ നല്ല ആസ്ട്ര പെട്ടെന്ന് ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയാവുന്നവനാണെങ്കിൽ നല്ലതാ, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇച്ചിരി പാടുപെടും. നോമനും നല്ലതാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
ഈ മാപ്പിന്റെ മെറ്റ ഏജൻസ് ഇതുവരെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടു വന്നിട്ടില്ല.
റിലീസായിട്ട് 2 ദിവസമല്ലേ
ആദ്യമേ മറ്റേ ബ്രീസ് ഇറങ്ങിയപ്പോഴും സൈഫർ പോലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്. സൈഫർ ആ ബേസ് ആയിട്ട് ലോക്ക് ചെയ്തെടുത്തു.
Going toward that A side because I feel like it's easier when you play in the Brimstone, when you have the vibe, but when you have the wall, creating the space for yourself, building the sides to what you desire, it's easier.
പുതിയ സ്കിൻ ആയിട്ട് വാങ്ങിയ
പുതിയതായാലും മേടിച്ചു.
സ്പെക്ട്രത്തിന് ഭയങ്കര ഒരു വാല്യൂ ഇല്ലാത്ത പോലെ തോന്നുന്നു, ഇച്ചിരി വില കൂടുതലാണ്. ബണ്ടിലിന് തന്നെ 10,000 രൂപ എങ്ങാണ്ടാവും, 10,000 മേളിലൊക്കെ.
എൽഡർ ഫ്ലെയിമിന്റെ സെയിം ആ ഒരു ലീഗിൽ ഇറക്കിയ സ്കിന്നാ. ആ എൽഡർ ഫ്ലെയിം അതുകൊണ്ട് വെച്ച് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ വാല്യൂ ഫോർ മണി അല്ല.
പിന്നെ ആകെ പാട്ടും കൊട്ടും മേളം എല്ലാം അവസാനം, എന്നാലേ തന്നെ ഒരു ഡിസ്കോ തന്നെ അവസാനം.
But because they switched it up, the Sova's confused. He's like, hold on, do I have to play off of sight? Do I have to play off of sight, go back up into tower, or do I do something different? That's exactly the kind of confusion you get when you throw these different walls at it. Let's go ahead and roll the clip and see exactly what happens, because it's a burst execute what the Brim gives you in that situation. This Brim right here, he gives you that burst ability that you have. 2 smokes on the site.
അതാ ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ ബൈൻഡിൽ തന്നെ കണ്ടില്ലേ, പെട്ടെന്ന് 2 സ്മോക്ക് ഇടാം. അങ്ങനെ പറ്റുന്ന ഏക ഏജന്റ്
off of the wall, and this is where that
ബ്രിമ്മിലെ ബൈൻഡില്
playing inside really close. Bray is trying to figure out exactly where to go.
അറ്റാക്ക് ചെയ്യാനായിരുന്നു അൾട്ടും ഉണ്ട്, പെട്ടെന്ന് സ്മോക്ക് ഇട്ട് ആ സ്മോക്ക് ഇടുകയും കയറുകയും കൂടെ ഒരുമിച്ച് ചെയ്യും. ആസ്ത്ര എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ ആസ്ത്രയും വൈപ്പറിന്റെയും ഇതാണ് നേരത്തെ ഇട്ട് വെക്കാം, അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ഗസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു സമയം കിട്ടും എങ്ങോട്ടാ പുഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഫേക്ക് ചെയ്യാനും പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. ആസ്ത്രയൊക്കെയാണ് ഫേക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, നമുക്ക് തിരിച്ചെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്.
You can't really stop him when you get the crossfire like that, when you get the support from your teammates, and at that point
Brimstone ഇപ്പോ ഏക പിക്ക് റേറ്റ് ഉള്ള മാപ്പ് ബൈൻഡ്.
That's how Acend wins 13-5. The score
ഒരു ബഫ് വന്നിട്ട് അങ്ങോട്ട് Brimstone അങ്ങോട്ട് കളി
as we head
വരുന്നു.
into the second map of Ascent and kind of close out the series and go into the third map too, it's going to be difficult for them to really come back into this on the second map. Ascent, it is one of those maps that has a bit of a similar style as well. When you really think about it, and Acend is really good.
എല്ലാവരുടെയും പൊതുവെ ഫേവറേറ്റ്
where he really had his rise to fame, so I can't wait to see that, Yancy.
Well, thank you so much for that, Bala. And as Bala, alluded to, we are going to have to go on to Acend. But of course, the first map, that was Acend's pick. This is not the biggest surprise ever. We knew they were going to be incredible. But coming into Acend, though, Kukuka, this could potentially be the equalizer.
ഇതിന്റെ പ്രഡിക്ഷൻ എന്താ അസെൻഡില്
അസെൻഡി അവന്മാരുടെ പിക്ക് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് എന്തായാലും സൂപ്പർ മാസീവ് ബ്ലേസിന് ഒരു ഇപ്പൊ കളിച്ചതിനേക്കാൾ ബെറ്റർ ആയിട്ടൊന്ന് എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു.
അതിനകത്ത് തന്നെ ഞാനും അസെൻഡ്
ജയിക്കുമെന്നാണ് എന്റെ ഒരു പ്രഡിക്ഷൻ.
പക്ഷെ കളി ഉറക്കമായിരിക്കും. അതിന്റെ അത്ര എളുപ്പം ജയിക്കാൻ ചാൻസ് ഇല്ല. പിന്നെ അറിയാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല, ഈ SMBയുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ലൈനാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നല്ലേ, അതുകൊണ്ട് അറിയാനും പറ്റില്ല.
ഈ മാച്ച് SMB ജയിക്കുമെന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു.
അസെൻഡിന്
പക്ഷെ ഒരു മെയിൻ ഫാക്ടർ ഉണ്ട്, സീനഡ് ഓൺ ജെറ്റ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഫാക്ടർ വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
സീനഡിന്റെ ഓപ്പിംഗ് നമ്മൾ ഇതുവരെ കണ്ടില്ല ബൈൻഡില്. അസെൻഡിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഓപ്പിംഗ് കാണാൻ പോകുന്നത്. ഏതായാലും GMBയുടെ ജെറ്റ് ഓപ്പ് ചെയ്ത കൂട്ടായിരിക്കത്തില്ലെന്ന് ഉറപ്പ് പറയാം.
Yeah, and as you can see, 100% pick rate from Acend here on Acend. He has never played anything else, but I know Kukuka, you want to see some more from Pora too, and Pora had a great map last time. Despite the score.
Yeah, I also feel like Pora feels extremely comfortable playing Sentinel. It's either Killjoy or Cypher. I didn't see him comfortable with Viper. He did hit amazing shots, but until you tested an official, is it really there? So I'm really eager to see
അവര് നിലത്ത് വരെ അടിച്ചു വെച്ചു.
out of the way. Still everything as we expected. I feel like this is going to go a lot through the jet.
ഈ ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് ഒക്കെ സ്പോൺസറിംഗ്
That's very interesting because, like the graphic showed, he plays a lot of Omen, and I love Astra.
Headset
I love Astra as a controller in this game. You do so much. You have full map control. Your smokes.
നമ്മളുണ്ടല്ലോ.
അല്ല, നമുക്ക് പറയാം, നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടില്ല, പിന്നെ വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് പെറുക്കി കൊണ്ടുപോകും.
ഹൗസിലൊക്കെ പ്രിഫറൻസ് വരും, കാരണം
പലവർക്ക് പലത് വേണമല്ലോ, വെയിറ്റ് കൂടിയതും കുറഞ്ഞതും. എന്റെ ക്യാമറ തന്നെ നോക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കും.
ഈ ടേബിളൊക്കെ ഹൈറ്റ് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റബിൾ ഒക്കെ അല്ലേ? നേരത്തെ ഒരു സമയത്ത് ഇങ്ങനെ എല്ലാരും പറയുന്നത് ഹൈറ്റ് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റബിൾ അല്ല, അപ്പൊ അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. ഷൗഡ്
അല്ല, അത് ഈ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഇല്ലേ, പ്ലെയേഴ്സ് തമ്മിലുള്ള ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് അത് കൂടുതലാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ്, അപ്പം ഫിസ്റ്റ് ബംപ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഒരു കുഴപ്പമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
But as we said, they came in with the expectation on the SuperMassiveBlaze side that map 1 probably not going to be theirs. Map 2 on the other hand,
വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങാൻ പറ്റുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും
we are ready to jump into the map. By the sounds of things, we've had a couple of changes yet again, Tom, as we get into Acend. SuperMassiveBlaze will be on the attack.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see an Astra, especially on this map. I like the way that you can
hello, എന്തെങ്കിലും പറഞ്ഞു
an extra sense more times on the defensive
side,
and also give you the ability to go for slightly more aggressive plays, like having all of those grab balls to pull players in.
SMB ആണ് attacking.
Combinations of utility.
SMB ആണ് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്.
അണ്ടർഡോഗിനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നല്ലേ?
ഞാൻ എപ്പോഴും അങ്ങനെ. അവർക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും സപ്പോർട്ട് വേണ്ടേ?
ഒഴിവാക്കുന്ന സമയങ്ങളിൽ ഇപ്പം ഒമനെ എടുത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ് SMB.
എല്ലാരും ഇപ്പൊ സിംഗിൾ ഡ്യൂവലിസ്റ്റ് ആണല്ലോ.
പക്ഷെ റെയ്നയുടെ ഒരു ഫ്ലാഷ് റെയ്നെല്ലാരും പ്രിഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, പക്ഷെ റെയ്ന ഈ രണ്ട് കളിയിൽ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടില്ല.
റെയ്നയ്ക്ക് പൊതുവെ ഈ ഇതിനകത്ത് പിക്ക് റേറ്റ് കുറവാണ്. പ്രോ പ്ലേ ആകെ കഴിഞ്ഞ ലൈനിൽ കളിച്ചതെങ്ങാണ്ട് ഇവൻ മാത്രമേ ടെൻസ് മാത്രമേ കളിച്ചുള്ളൂ. ലാൻഡിന്റെ കാര്യമാണ്
ബ്ലൈൻഡ്. അതായത് സ്മോക്കിന്റെ മെയിൻ ബലത്തെ വേണം കയറാൻ.
അതാണ് ഇന്ന് മേടിക്കുന്നത്. 2v3.
at the moment for Acend. Already going to put down another grab. Well, the peak coming back in, and it's just not going
1v2.
well for Brave. It's Bone Cold to close things out in the pistol, and a few cheeky little set plays from Acend to win
Okay,
the round.
pistol
Talking about win
Acend.
conditions for Acend, obviously they're starting on the defense here, and that is their choice. You want to see them clock up a couple of rounds, but building on the momentum of the previous map could be absolutely huge for them if they can manage to make that happen. You could start to really make SuperMassiveBlaze feel boxed in, like this was a mistake, this was not the map that they wanted to fight on. You have to be realistic then and continue to
അടിപൊളിയാ.
point. This is SuperMassiveBlaze.
എല്ലാ മാപ്പിലും ആസ്ട്ര അടിപൊളിയാ.
രണ്ട് മാപ്പിലും അല്ല രണ്ട് ടീമിലും ആസ്ത്രയാണ് ഞാൻ പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചത്. ഒമൻ പിക്ക് വന്നു.
ഒമൻ പിന്നെ സ്മോക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് ചെയ്യാം. പിന്നെ ഒമന്റെ ആ പാരനോയയുടെ അതൊന്നല്ല, കോംബോ ഇട്ട് കളിച്ചാൽ നല്ലതാ. പക്ഷേ
well, that wasn't a fun fight, and they've lost the second player. This is already getting into pretty dangerous territory for Acend. Not just in terms of losing the round, but economy as well. You really don't want to be losing.
Smoke അല്ല, ഫ്ലാഷ് ഒമന്റെയും റൈനയുടെയും
SuperMassiveBlaze creeping into its heaven. They have
അല്ലേ?
only 2 players to work with. The weapons are very weak. One more.
ഒമന്റെ ഫ്ലാഷിന് ഇത്ര ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ഇത്ര റേഡിയസിലല്ലേ പോകത്തുള്ളൂ.
ഒമന്റെ ഫ്ലാഷ്
പക്ഷെ ഡോഡ്ജ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഇച്ചിരി പാടാണ്.
ഡോഡ്ജ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല കറക്റ്റ് ഇടുന്നതാണെങ്കിൽ.
ആ ഒരു ഒറ്റ ബ്ലൈൻഡിന്റെ ബലത്തിൽ വേണം കയറാൻ. ആ ഒരു ബ്ലൈൻഡിൽ കയറിയിരിക്കണം, പിന്നൊന്നുമില്ല.
അതിപ്പോ ഈ
കൈയൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ വീണ്ടും വീണ്ടും ഫ്ലാഷ് വരും. 2 ഫ്ലാഷ് ആദ്യമേ ഉണ്ട്.
ഇപ്പൊ എമെയിൻ നേരെ ഫുള്ള് ഫ്ലാഷ് ആവും. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള ചോക്ക് പോയിന്റിലാണെങ്കിൽ ഒമന്റെ ഫ്ലാഷ് നല്ലതാണ്.
2-0 is what it is. You get a couple of weapons, sure, you're probably going to have a player or two.
ബി മെയിനും എല്ലാം ഒറ്റ ഇതിയാ ഫുള്ള് ലെയിൻ ഫുൾ അങ്ങ് ഇതായിരിക്കും.
What they've got to work with as well, you know, the ideal scenario here would be that Acend was a little more involved in some of those fights, that he'd had that Blade Storm close to peeking over, but instead you're going to have to take out that Sheriff on kill as Spectres in play for Starzone Bone Cold. They know that the likelihood is they lose this round. They just want to make sure they keep the money over. Problem is, as I said, CNET investing up, he's not going to be able to get his Blade Storm by next round.
Yeah, either if he gets his Blade Storm, then he's won them the round. I know that's basically it. Like, he would have to get enough kills, or maybe get 4 and die. That would be fine as well. But the chances are you're just going to be taking it over the line if that's the case. So it's unlikely to be happening. But we'll see how costly he can make this one, and maybe give them an opportunity to try and grab an ultimate orb in the next round.
Couldn't quite get over the wall there with the drone. If it had him, that could have been nice, spotting out a second player in mid. Instead, they slow it down a little bit, but they don't get a whole lot in terms of reward for that drone committed. For the 400 credits that it costs, it is a pretty chunky utility to be investing into. Pora
Nice
broken from further away, allowing Bone Cold to catch him.
അവനും അതിനകത്ത് കയറി പെട്ടു.
അതെ.
Take down one. Now dealing with the turret just in time as well with 29 HP left. That could have gotten scary.
Acendനെ ജയിക്കണം.
Fights are never going to be ideal for Acend with the weaker weapons.
ഒരു റൈറ്റ് ലോഡ്
ഈഗോ പീക്ക് ആയി പോയി.
ലാൻ കളിക്കുന്നതിൽ എല്ലാ
താഴെ നിരന്നിരിക്കുന്നു.
അത് നല്ലൊരു ഇതാ. എന്താ നൈസ് ഒരു ഇതായിരുന്നു.
They shouldn't have been able to take that across the line. They had a pistol, 2 Spectres
The
and
best of
Ares.
3,
I mean,
man.
realistically, this was a round that Acend knew that they were going to lose, and yet still they come out on top. And really, it's this play from Killez, grabbing the Nano Swarm frag onto Pora, then quickly delivering a second and even going in for 3 on the site. A gorgeous round, a hero round from him, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, yeah, but it was that initial damage, like, although the gravity well didn't do much in terms of
Amara
the
full
actual
save
kill,
ആണല്ലേ ഷെറിഫാ
it
ഫുൾ.
weakened enough that the turret almost kills the Pora, and then the extra utility is there to close him out as well. The problem now, though, is that Pora's on a pistol. This man is incredibly good with this gun. Zened, he takes 2 to at least keep it even.
സീനില്ല, അസെന്റിന് ഗണ്ണ് ലോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സീനില്ല.
The fact that you have a decision to make now, and they've
ജയിച്ചാൽ
been
മതി.
closing the door. they're saying, hey, you guys go take that gun. We don't care. We're going to look elsewhere to find those openings. And it's Starzo who's pushed all the way up behind the middle players. That means the spike is now trapped. I mean, getting out of here is impossible for Turco without taking a fight. He's already spotted Starzo and taking him down. Okay, this could be scary. Ascend at a man disadvantage. Zeke, as much as I love the Odin, it's not really what you want if you're retaking a side a lot of the time. SuperMassiveBlaze have all the control and a lot of the weaponry.
It's a weird
the fact that Turco spins that and manages to find the kill. The problem being though is they've got to try and gamble out the space. They know that there's a turret close, so if that ever turns off even for a second, they'll
ഈ റൗണ്ട് എങ്ങനെയും SuperMassiveBlazeന് ജയിക്കണം.
Instead though, he peeks in spots.
ഇത് ജയിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവന്മാരെ സേവ് ആയിരുന്നു ഈ റൗണ്ട്. അപ്പം ജയിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത്രയും നല്ലതാണ്. അപ്പൊ തന്നെ 0-3.
Hello guys, slow.
ഹലോ ഭയങ്കര സൗണ്ട്. ഇച്ചിരി സൗണ്ട് പറ.
This position, the problem is when that recon comes through, it kind of gives it away. There's someone on the site, 12 seconds left. They need the plant and they need it now. They're coming
Over
from the Odin. They might not even know it's in play just yet. He's got basically a full mag to play with plenty of bullets to run into the
Odin
spike.
Pablo.
Absolutely no way.
Odin is
That is
weakest.
a round one for
Man,
Ascend.
ഒത്തിരി slow ആയി.
1-0. A bigger blow than they would have liked to have taken. Losing 3
നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് തന്നെ വാച്ച് ബോർഡ് ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
എടാ നീ ആണെങ്കിൽ ടാസ്ക് ബാറിന്റെ അവിടെ ഇതുണ്ട്. അത് ഈ ലെവൽസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് കുറച്ചാണ്.
അല്ല നിന്റെ താഴെ ഇപ്പം മറ്റേ ജനറലിന്റെ താഴെ നിന്റെ പേര് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. നിന്റെ പേര് ഹാഷ്ടാഗ് അതിനകത്തൊരു മൈക്കും ഹെഡ്ഫോണും സെറ്റിംഗ്സ് ഇല്ലേ? അതിനകത്ത് മൈക്ക് അതിനകത്ത് റൈറ്റ് ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്ത് കുറച്ചാൽ മൈക്കിൽ
ഈ റൗണ്ട് എന്താണ്
അതാ എ സൈറ്റ് കിട്ടിയതാവന്മാർക്ക് കില്ല് അകത്ത് കയറി കറങ്ങി കളിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. എന്നിട്ട് അമ്മ എന്താ എ കയറാതെ ബി കയറിയെന്ന് മനസ്സിലായി.
എടാ നിങ്ങള് സ്ട്രീം ചെയ്യുവാണോ? സ്ക്രീൻ ലിങ്ക് കാണുന്നില്ലല്ലോ. സ്ക്രീൻ ലിങ്ക് ഉണ്ടോ?
എന്തിനാ നീ അത് കാണാനാണ്? നീ അല്ലാതെ ട്വിച്ചിൽ പോയി ഡയറക്റ്റ് കാണാം. അതാകുമ്പോ കറക്റ്റ് ചെയ്താ യൂട്യൂബിൽ ശകലില്ല.
എനിക്ക് ട്വിച്ച് മീൻസ് ഫോണിൽ കൂടെ കാണാനോ അതോ ഇതിനകത്തൂടെ?
ഫോണിൽ കൂടെ കാണാം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലാപ്പിൽ കാണാം. നീ ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് അല്ലേ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? അപ്പൊ ലാപ്പിൽ കാണാം. അപ്പൊ സൗണ്ട് വരത്തില്ല. ഞാൻ അതിന്റെ സൗണ്ട് കുറച്ച്
ട്വിച്ച് അതിനകത്ത് ഇടണോ ഇനി?
അല്ല ഗൂഗിൾ എടുത്തിട്ട് ഗൂഗിളിനകത്ത് കാണാം. സെർച്ച് ചെയ്യണം. P-Netന്റെ 4K.
P-Netന്റെ ഓപ്പനെ ടാക്കിൾ ചെയ്യാതെ ഒരിക്കലും ജയിക്കാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല.
കഴിഞ്ഞു SuperMassiveBlaze കഴിഞ്ഞു.
ടൈമുണ്ട് ഇനി.
ടൈമല്ല കഴിഞ്ഞ അവന്മാരുടെ പിക്കായി.
അവര് കഴിഞ്ഞതിനകത്ത് ഇവരെ അസന്റിനെ തോപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് പിക്ക് ചെയ്തേ.
എന്റെ പീക്കിങ് കണ്ടോ സീനടിന്റെ ഓപ്പ് വെച്ച്.
Oh, most definitely. The jump up, I didn't believe it was going to come through from Brave, but I guess he thought the birthday look was with him.
The സീനടാ ഈ ഓപ്പൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട്.
ഇതില്ല അവന്റെ മറ്റേ ഇസിയുടെ ഓപ്പൺ കണ്ട. അല്ലല്ല ഇസിയുടെ അല്ല ഇസിയുടെ. ഞാൻ പക്ഷെ ഇസിയിലെ ഒരു ഓപ്പറേറ്റർ കണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ.
അവൻ അവിടുന്ന് എങ്ങനെ രക്ഷപ്പെട്ടു?
ആ സീനഡിനെ രക്ഷിക്കാൻ അവിടെ അൾട്ട് ഇട്ടു.
നോയ്സ് വരുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്റെ അകത്തൊന്നും? ഇല്ലല്ലോ.
സൗണ്ട് കൊണ്ട്
അതവിടെ കുറയ്ക്കുന്നത്.
നീ മറ്റേ ഡിസ്കോഡ് കണ്ടോ? ഡിസ്കോഡിനകത്ത് താഴെ നിന്റെ പേരും ഒരു മൈക്രോഫോണിന്റെ ഐക്കണോ ഒരു ഹെഡ്ഫോണിന്റെ ഐക്കണോ സെറ്റിംഗ്സിന്റെ ഐക്കണോ കണ്ടോ? അതാ മൈക്രോഫോണിന്റെ
കുഴപ്പമുണ്ടോ? ഹലോ
ഈ റൗണ്ട് ജയിച്ചേ വരും.
എടാ ഇത്രയും കുറച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് ബോൾ ഇത്ര കുറച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇത്രയും പോരെ.
ഫസ്റ്റ് റൗണ്ട് ആവണം.
ഇനി ഭയങ്കര മാസീവ് കംബാക്ക് ആണ് നോക്കിക്കോ. ഇതിനൊരു 2 days ആയി.
സൗണ്ട് കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല.
എന്താ
ട്വിച്ചില് സൗണ്ട് കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല. എന്താ അല്ലല്ല മ്യൂട്ടല്ല. എന്റെ ട്വിച്ച് സൗണ്ട് കേൾക്കാത്തോ?
They're currently singing "We Will Rock You." Freddie, I don't know if anybody at home can hear this, but they are literally.
Acend സീനാണല്ലോ അമരയുടെ കളിപ്പിച്ച് കീറും.
ടെലിപോർട്ടർ സീനായിരുന്നു ഏറ്റവും രസം.
ഞാൻ ഈ പിസ്റ്റലൊക്കെ എടുത്തെറിഞ്ഞ് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. വാൻഡലൊക്കെ എടുത്തെറിഞ്ഞ്
അതിലൊക്കെ എടുത്തോളാൻ പറഞ്ഞു.
അതോ 2 3 എണ്ണം കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളൂ.
അവന് കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ ആയി പോയി ഏതെടുക്കണം.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm loving seeing this team and I'm loving seeing them on a stage.
ഈ ഒരു എൻവയോൺമെന്റിലൊക്കെ ഇരുന്ന് കളിക്കുന്ന ഒരു അവസ്ഥ ആലോചിക്കില്ല. ഫുൾ ലൈറ്റിംഗ് വെച്ച് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഓഡിയൻസ് അല്ല, അവരൊന്ന് ഓർത്ത് നോക്കിയേ. ആ ഒരു സ്റ്റേഡിയത്തിലിരുന്നേ അമ്മമാർക്ക് കുഴപ്പമില്ലായിരിക്കും. നമ്മളൊക്കെ ഉള്ളവരൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ പുതുതായിട്ട് വന്നിട്ടേ കളിക്കുമ്പോ
അതല്ലേ നമുക്ക് പോകാൻ പറ്റാത്ത.
ആ ക്ലാസിക് സോവാ മൂവ്. അതേതായിരുന്നു ആ ഓപ്പ്? ഏതാ നെതർലാൻഡ് ആയിരുന്നോ?
ഇല്ല സിൽവാനസ്.
ആർക്കും വേണ്ടാതെ അതിന്റെ ഗ്രാഫിക്സ് പോലും കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ഇല്ല നോട്ടഡ് സാധാരണ ഏത് സ്കിൻ ഇറങ്ങിയാലും ഈ സെയിം ബോട്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിടുമായിരുന്നു. നോട്ടഡിന്റെ ഈ സിൽവാനസിന്റെ വീഡിയോ മാത്രം ഈ നോട്ട് സെയിം ബോട്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. 6 HP.
ഇപ്പൊ ഹീൽ കൊടുക്കണം.
ഇതിന്റെ അങ്ങോട്ട് കണക്ട് ആവുന്നില്ല ഓപ്പറേറ്റർ.
തീർന്നു.
The lockdown will still come into effect, but it gives them a man disadvantage as they come back in. Starzo even has a res to play with. Now there's no one
fight secure
He's already used his wall, so up in heaven, he can't get that player back online. The res is out of the round. This is where SuperMassiveBlaze need to turn up.
ഈ റൗണ്ട് ജയിച്ചില്ല കഴിഞ്ഞു.
He's actually resed them. Actually both players within a second. Pora, he's going to find himself a fourth. It's left on to Izzy. As said, it's been a little bit rough for him so far, but this time he will land the shot. The clutch coming through for SuperMassiveBlaze.
സംബീര പൊസിഷനിങ് ഭയങ്കര മോശമാട്ടോ. പെട്ടെന്ന് ചില്ല് പോകും.
രണ്ട് റൗണ്ട് കൂടെ ജയിക്കണം.
ഞാൻ ഈ ഡിസ്കോഡിൽ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് അല്ലാതെ സൗണ്ട്സ് ഒന്നും പറ്റുന്നില്ല. എന്തേലും ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യണോ? എന്തേലും അറിയാവോ? ആ ആപ്പിനകത്തോടാ. ഞാൻ PC-യില.
If CNET aimed 1 degree to the left when he dashed, he was dead.
Well, yeah. Then they cleared him out anyway when they went for the repeat, so they've done well over the last couple, and now actually financially we see Acend in the bin, but that might not matter too much. It's not necessarily an Odin or an Ares this time, but the pistol has kicked things off for Zeke. There's still the opportunity to throw in the Blade Storm as well. Both players go down within an instant. Quick couple of trades back, SMB back in the driver's seat.
This is where they've spotted 2 players who are still here. You know that they're stacked up, but it doesn't look like they're all too concerned, wanting to just punish them and take them down here and now. A late flank coming in from Killa as it's being watched, or was being watched by Pora. The S indeed it still is. Conscious of that play, watching for the spawn as well. I mean, this is perfect. SuperMassiveBlaze not giving enough opportunities really for a big hero play to come through over on Acend for the pistols to do major damage. There's the first, but that's all that they'll get. And losing 2 on attack side Acend, yeah, I think you can accept that.
I'm not sure if Acend actually popped his blade storm into the round. We'll see it, but it's something that we normally get in these eco round scenarios. Maybe saving it for a rainy day, or he did just pop it and I didn't notice. So yeah, he did. Okay, we didn't actually get to see it from his POV.
It's kind of like you see CNED, you're like, oh, he didn't get 4 kills that round? Probably didn't.
Yeah, he didn't use it. Well, he died. He didn't even get 1. It's like, come on, he can't use his blade storm. That wouldn't make any sense. But after what was a 5-round streak, even with a couple of closer rounds, SMB are now back, and as said, that they are a team that have beaten the likes of Gambit 13-1. They can definitely streak rounds together on this map.
Oh, most definitely. Now here's where they're going to try to get something done. This is the one round where you see Zeke playing very, very passive. He actually could have spammed that ult down from it being placed up on top of the box, but obviously he's conscious that they could put it behind it, and then that's not going to happen. So, they're going to have a big retake play from Acend, but they also have a lockdown to play with, Tom.
One of their own.
Title ആരും കളിക്കുന്നില്ല
Maybe a little bit of confusion as the positions currently being taken. The wall boost for Turco might not necessarily be expected, but the afterplant's looking stellar. Again, you've got Pora waiting on the lurk. CNED already going to be dropped, and now we see the Cosmic Divide thrown in to try and separate these players. But if anything, they've just given a safe spot to Turco to just sit behind them. It is not going well at all for Acend in this round, and the afterplant looking incredible.
Yeah, Starzo's trapped, not a chance of getting out of there. Very solid round from SuperMassiveBlaze. Not to say, one thing that I found kind of odd was Russ used up his shock darts there right at the start. He was throwing them in when the spike was being planted, and obviously when you've got a lockdown on the other side, that's a big risk. It means you can't deal with them. But there is the counter to that of they aggressive style. They wanted to get up in their face. They weren't waiting on the B side for them to come in and being like, oh, let's hope we can deal with it. No, they ran at them and seized all the space back. 5-4. We had tactical pause come out of SuperMassiveBlaze, and since then they've been looking pretty hot.
Yeah, since then they haven't exactly been rocked, you could say, by what we've heard from the other side during that tactical pause. So maybe they'll get one of their own soon and take it a little bit more seriously. But for now, again, we're back to the pistols. Ultimate.
Acendile ഏതൊക്കെ എഞ്ചിനാണ് ബഫ് കിട്ടിയത്? ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ ബാലൻസ് ചേഞ്ചിലെ ഏതൊക്കെ ഏജിനാ ബഫ് കിട്ടിയത്?
ബഫ് കിട്ടിയ ആകെ ബ്രീച്ചിന് മാത്രമേ ബ്രീച്ചിന്റെ ബ്രീച്ചിനും കിട്ടി. ബ്രിംസ്റ്റോണിന് ഒരു ചെറിയ ബ്രിംസ്റ്റോണിന്റെ അൾട്ടിന് എല്ലാം ഡാമേജ് ചെയ്യും. സ്റ്റേജ് ബോളും എല്ലാം ഡാമേജ് ചെയ്യും. ബ്രീച്ചിന്റെ ആഫ്റ്റർ ഷോക്ക് ഇപ്പം KJLട്ടൊക്കെ പൊട്ടിക്കും.
അത്ര ഒരു യൂസ് ഇല്ലാതെ പോണ.
Yeah, I'm still surprised though about the Hunter's Fury at the very beginning. Like it's one of those things where it's like I spotted a couple of players at the top of mid, but I just don't really see the value of such an impactful ult just being utilized like that. It might be because when you're that
എനിക്ക് ഗെയിം സൗണ്ട് കിട്ടുന്നില്ലടാ. എന്തിനും നാശമാണ്.
But they don't have it here, so just a little bit peculiar. We've also got the Blade Storm and the Res currently.
സൗണ്ട് ഇല്ലാതെ കണ്ട അവസ്ഥയാണല്ലോ.
5-round streaks on either side. I wonder if we're finally going to get a combo breaker.
Let's see. The Sand have got it in them to take this one across the line. The operator of CNED on the other side of the map. SuperMassiveBlaze have managed to dodge it, but look at all that killjoy utility. There's stars everywhere. There's nano swarms, there's alarm bots, there's absolutely everything they could hope for, and those stars actually avoid being spawned. 2 players were spotted. They know underneath, and they're going to try to spam them into the open, not looking for the kill. They're trying to open space for Izzy to get frags with the off. The Hunter's Fury wasn't supposed to kill, just to reposition, but both shots miss. Izzy then pops the ultimate, moves towards the site, but he's pushed back right into the hands of Starzo, waiting for him. The kills are going their way though. SuperMassiveBlaze here to fight and here to win with 50 seconds on the clock. They still need to deal with Starzo, and he's bringing this back into the realm of possibility for Acend. The timing so poor, and he just about gets taken down.
Turco as well is already watching this flank. It was everything for Zeke to get that kill, but they had him sandwiched in, and now the only one remaining is CNED to try and face off. Well, I was going to say versus 4, but it's now down to 3, and Turco will put him in his place. SMB take the lead after, I still can't believe they're 5-0 down. 6 in a row. Just took them a little bit of time to get off the mark, and now they're looking unbelievable.
Now you see exactly what we were talking about towards the start of this series. When we said that Acend winning the pistol, getting that third round on the board and so on was so important.
On that. Go for it. Correct me if I'm wrong, got 2 kills in the pistol.
Got 2 kills on the pistol.
അണ്ടർഡോഗ്സ് ഒരു ചാൻസ് കിട്ടി അവർ മാക്സിമം യൂസ്
അവരൊന്ന് വാമായി തന്നെ അവരുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് മേജർ അങ്ങാണ്ടല്ലേ.
Disappointing statistic to hear. Credit to SuperMassiveBlaze for just shutting him down so consistently. That tag comes in, but it could have been a little bit awkward if it was a second earlier. Izzy on that operator's definitely been struggling with a couple of these rounds now up against the pistols yet again. Like, this is a forced buy from Acend, obviously because it's the last round of the half, but they still couldn't get anything much out. In fact, not a single rifle to fight for 6-6.
See if Bone Cold can change things a little bit. He's watching for the wall boost up, but never mind. His head's been taken off anyway. Again, they have a couple of players around to try and just lock it down, but Starzo would have to go absolutely ham. He does have his res available to him to bring a teammate back, but if anything, he goes for that now. Teammate dead again.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be dead before he even got to the body. That's the thing. And I think he's just been spotted. Yes, he has. There's the tag on the wall. You see, they're saying he's close right, and Brave is going to take him down. In comes the Ares, but not good for those kind of fights. This is looking like a guaranteed 7 for SuperMassiveBlaze. A hero is needed, and it's not seen at this time around. It falls to Killaz. He's been huge before. They know he's going for the lockdown. They're going to push him down right away. Killaz deals with him. Lockdown popped. Now he just needs to hold on to this position. There's no one coming in through heaven.
They got 1-2.
They've popped their own. They're going to be happy to keep him locked in position. In fact, he's going to push right afterwards. He's still looking for kills. He's taking down the first, swapping over the weapon, going to go and destroy it. And he gets it done as well. The other player's backed off. This could actually be huge. One player even got detained. Down goes the turret. He taps the defuse. It's all a ruse, trying to bait them into the open. And eventually he does. Unfortunately,
that was a nice try.
That's his end. Very nice try. In fact, the Spectre in a 1v4, hey, he almost got that done.
Yeah, no, I'm really surprised he got anywhere near as close as he actually did, but hey, nice attempt. He's had a pretty good half as well. I think it is just Bone Cold. He's having a rough one. Definitely not looking as comfortable as we normally see him. Someone who frags within his role, and maybe Astra's not for him.
Well, I have to say, looking at this comeback from SuperMassiveBlaze, 5-0 down, and they don't lose a single round. I'm at a loss for words. Luckily, I don't need to have any more words, because we've got our boy Bala again with a big breakdown. Let's throw it over.
I'm really interested in that question that Tom's asking right now, because SMB has struck back in the second map, and it is kind of due to, I think, a little bit of a mishap on Acend's side, but also some good play from SMB. So let's go ahead and take a look at a round that I think turned the tides in this map so far. We can go ahead over to the telestration screen, because let's roll the clip and you'll see basically you've got one. Let's zoom in right here on this lockdown. It is very, very common for, you know, your Killjoy to play the lockdown there, and sometimes you have the sight lines with the Sova to actually be able to punch his Fury it or shock dart it or a bunch of different things. Very common, but you have instantly the dash from Izzy. They got on a sight. Now this is where things go wrong, I think. If you look at the B site and you look at how they're playing this retake, you actually have, look at this player up here. You have the Sage up on top of the wall, and he has a really fantastic angle because nobody on the side of Market can't see him. If you look at the light of science, you can't see him over that wall. They break it on top. He gets a couple of frags through that, but this wall that just came out, they're gonna pop through and fight as the Sage gets contact, and they're gonna just completely wipe the round off with that. All players down, one player left stuck behind the Astral, but that's the last place that they have to check, and at that point it is completely over. So if SMB can continue to do something like that, that's kind of what Acend ended up, they ended up kind of losing their footing in that map and in that first half, because from then they continued to lose rounds over and over and over. And you saw the last round too, Killjoy ult versus Killjoy ult. Similar things that you're not really expecting to happen frequently. There was a couple of things where CNED was starting to get a couple frags with his obvious, starting to get a little hot, but after that, it really started to go downhill for Acend. We'll have to see if they can actually ring it back themselves. With the attack side they have on Bind, I think they can do just that, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Bala. I'm loving this. The breakdowns on the big screen. We got Bala doing it. We'll have some other people on there later, but let's not spoil any of the fun.
Is it Sue?
It might be.
You know, I heard she's got the biggest brain in EU at least.
Well,
that's what some people say.
That is true. You know, Minnie and Boaster told me that one. 7-5. We're coming into half number 2. The defense of SuperMassiveBlaze about to be put to the test, but based on the last 7 rounds, they might not have any problems.
Yeah, no, it was like they couldn't really get anything going towards the end. It was a phenomenal comeback from SuperMassiveBlaze after what was the early rounds. We saw Izzy starting to step up, but all in all, like, everybody had their moments. Clutches coming out from Turco to close out some of the rounds, and now we need to see the same sort of brilliance from Acend. But they did do incredibly well in their pistol rounds. You never know, maybe this is where Bone Cold will get him another one.
Maybe. Double up on the kills. Let's see what they can do. SuperMassiveBlaze getting aggressive, but CNET's here to play. The dash didn't quite go according to plan, but the kills certainly did. They don't expect it. And Russ is able to take down 2. That makes it doable. Bone Cold on 20 HP, but a big clutch from Turco. This guy has been insane so far, Tom. This might be too much to ask, though.
Yeah, especially with it. The thing is, this is a position that Turco also used in the last half. So if he gets fooled by his own tactic, I might be a little bit disappointed. The fact is that I don't know if it's actually going to be Starzo that does anything here, because there are players holding the crossbow, and Cole going to be watching and will spot out his position. No, he's not coming in from behind. And now it just leaves this disgusting crossfire, even going to pull in a star and a turret to try and leave him out. And although he does check, he was aware.
He was.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, well, there were 3 players to deal with and an Astra Star right below him, so he didn't really have a choice on that one. Also, great use of the Astra Stars to just run down the clock when it came to putting it on top of the wall that you're seeing right there on the right side. When you put it up there, it's a one-way. He's not going to run through that and get shot from sight, so instead he has to wait a couple of seconds before it fades away. It's 7-6, another pistol round for Acend. We often say, Tom, if you win both pistols, your chances of winning the map go up pretty significantly.
Yeah, no, well, it put you in an incredibly good spot normally. It's just not normal that the case of your opponents winning 7 rounds in a row.
True.
So,
very true.
You know what? It's a little bit of a different scenario. It's actually crazy that Russ, I think he actually headshot someone through someone else and almost gets himself an extra kill in that round. So he did his best, but realistically, this round, Mitch, not expecting much.
No, not really. They know that there's a player towards the back of the site. Russ is going to be dealt with immediately. That drone had spotted him out. The dash is ambitious at best from Izzy. And this is going as expected. We're looking good for a Prime Gaming flawless, and let's see if that comes through. Indeed, it does. Kill is farming up a bunch of orbs along with Starzo. They're now looking pretty hot coming into 7-7.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't jinx that. Like, you calling a flawless before it even happened.
Why
So
not?
It's a bold play,
gotta roll the dice,
to say the least. But hey, we're gonna get a replay, a wonderful graphic from it as well. And I've really been enjoying Killers in this map actually. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like he's almost like the jack of all trades for the team. Like, he'll pick
SMB വലിയൊരു കമ്പാക്ക് നടത്താൻ നോക്കിയതാണ്, പക്ഷേ ലാസ്റ്റ് പൊളിഞ്ഞുപോയി.
റൗണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ഏത് രീതി വേണേലും അറിയാം. ആ ഒരു ഫ്ലോ എന്തായാലും
ഡിജിറ്റൽ റൗണ്ട് ജയിച്ച അടുത്ത റൗണ്ട് ഒന്നേ ഈക്കോ ചെയ്യും അല്ലേ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പം ആ റൗണ്ട് എന്തോ ആദ്യം സെക്യൂർഡ് കറക്റ്റ് കളിച്ച
ഈ റൗണ്ട് പോയിരിക്കും.
He's no longer using the Elf Flame like the rest of the team, so, you know, really team's energy suffers there. But jokes aside, we're looking at a pretty Acend into a smoke. They went, and well, they didn't get anything done for it. Brave quickly shutting them down before he falls himself. That was a blinking you miss it kind of round.
Yeah, an aggressive push coming through from Brave into their own smoke, and well, as that lone phantom player, he can spray through those smokes no issue without them really knowing exactly where he is.
Bone Cold's really not having a good game right now, is he? I mean, we know his Brimstone is world class. We saw his lurk gameplay. It's pretty good previous map. He was able to do so much, but
അത്യാവശ്യം അഗ്രസീവായിട്ട് കളിക്കും.
now, man, I mean, the Astra on this map
അഗ്രസീവായിട്ട് കളിച്ചാൽ പറ്റത്തില്ല. അവരുടെ ടീമിന്റെ ഏക എൻട്രി അവൻ.
always looking for those. I mean, just the
ഫസ്റ്റ്
paranoia
പിക്കിനാണ് അവൻ ആ ഓപ്പ്
but
എടുത്തത്.
it also is very similar to what
അകത്തേക്ക് വെച്ച്
അത് ഇച്ചിരി ഏർലി ആയിപ്പോയി ആ ഷോട്ട് ഡാർക്ക്. എന്താണെങ്കിലും അവിടം വരെ വരാനുള്ള സമയമില്ല.
അർജുൻ എന്താ പറഞ്ഞേ?
അല്ല, അമ്മ അഗ്രസീവായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു ഡിഫെൻഡിങ് ആണ്.
ഞാൻ വിചാരിച്ചു നീ ആ ജെറ്റ് AFK ആണ്.
ഭിത്തിയിലടിച്ചോണ്ട്
ലാനിലൊക്കെ AFK.
അവൻ അവിടെ വരെ കോപ്പി ചെയ്തു സീനുണ്ട്.
I agree 100%. Now look at this. Opening kill has come through with Pora falling. Pora, another player, has been so pivotal. See, I wasn't sure if there's a little gap there. Now, going to to be looking for some picks, operator in hand, but Brave is falling down on shore. With him out, the side is completely theirs. Acend will be able to get a nice and easy plan to hold on to a 5 versus 3. Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. This looks like a tangible save from
സേവ്
SuperMassiveBlaze
ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും നല്ലത്.
They're starting to hit that W key a little bit.
Yeah, they legitimately have nothing to get them back into the round.
Maybe that
Drone
one
already
got
utilized. Sure, they could try and
already
sneak a
lead
player or
untalo,
two, maybe
പിന്നെ
find them through the wall. But other than that, you're just going to be throwing weaponry into the wind. And on the other side of things, like, yeah, sure, a fair bit of the utility's already been deployed as well, but I don't think you're going to break this after plant of the SuperMassiveBlaze. You just want to keep the economy strong. Make sure you can come back into the next round. Maybe get an operator for Izzy. He's someone
ഒരു pick കൂടെ കിട്ടിയാൽ
is incredibly
എക്സിറ്റ് ഫ്രാഗിനെ മിഡിൽ കൂടെ ആരെങ്കിലും പോകുന്നുണ്ട് എക്സിറ്റ് ഫ്രാഗ് നോക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് ഇവര് നിൽക്കുന്നത്.
I want to see that come into play.
മിക്കവാറും കിട്ടും. ഒന്ന്
എക്കണോമി ഏകദേശം മോശമാണ്. മാർക്കും മാക്സിമം
I just heard the players. I'm not sure if the guys at home, if y'all on Twitch, YouTube, wherever you might be watching, I'm not sure if you will have heard it. The guys in Acend, they hit a big woo, you know, they're getting hyped, they're really pulling it. And I just saw Pora then like kind of look up and
ലെഫ്റ്റ് ഹാൻഡഡ് ആണ്.
he just returned it a little bit, keep the energy up.
ആണോ?
Nice round for Acend to get them back on the horse.
അല്ലെന്തോ
അല്ല പിന്നെ മൗസ് ലെഫ്റ്റ് കൈ വെച്ച് പിടിച്ചേക്കുന്ന പോലെ.
There's a lot of mutual respect between them, especially.
You saw it in the press conference yesterday. I mean, like Riv was saying earlier that they just every time someone was asked like, "Yo, you guys, you got a rivalry like G2 Sentinels. You know, what does it feel like?" And they're like, "I don't know, man. I think it's just social media." We got
രണ്ടാമത് ഡ്രോൺ പൊട്ടിക്കുന്നല്ലേ.
Okay, there you go. Burncold's back on the board. He's found himself a kill straight through the wall. Do they expect re-aggression from Russ? In fact, they're almost going to try and completely ignore it. Burncold finds another one. It's all fallen apart. This B-main aggression, something they attempted in the pistol, and it failed then as well, Mitch. They now have Brave to try and hold on to this side. The utility that's currently available. Can't afford to like shoulder peek this because he'll get sucked in.
Easy to take.
This is going to be tough for Brave.
5.
I mean, a 1v5 versus Acend, not something you're likely to see come through, and so it looks like we're seeing yet another save. Please be postured for it. We'll take a few exits if he can get them, but for the most part, it's going to be a fairly drawn-out round with not a lot happening. The door is even closed, so we can't even catch an angle. So playing for the exits is the right call. The problem is getting into position for an exit. If he was to actually try and get behind B main, CNET is staring at that with an operator, and they even have spawn flank covered by Starzo. There's literally nowhere that he can surprise them from.
Yeah, and his teammate already died.
പ്ലേ കാണാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ടോ?
So, like, if he was to push that, he'd have to be a little bit of a maniac, and I don't think, out of all the players on this team, I almost feel like Brave is like the calm within the storm, which is quite interesting considering he is the youngest as well. Yeah. Like the player who literally turned 18 today, I believe. I think that was said on the desk earlier. So, happy birthday, Brave. I hope that your gift is you get to keep your gun this round.
Well, let's see if it is. Let's see if Acend are feeling generous. Maybe that's what was happening on the previous map. They were throwing through a Vandal saying like, hey, you know what, give it to Brave. It's his birthday. A little present for him.
ഇവനായിരുന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞോട്ടെ വാലിഡ് എറിഞ്ഞു കൊടുത്തത്.
I wonder if they'll
ബ്രേവിന് അല്ല അവര് പറയുന്നത് കേട്ടു.
in the pistol and in this round, and in both times they've walked into every single member of Acend, and it's gone incredibly bad. So I would almost say that this is one of those pushes that maybe you have a bit of a peek coming out from Izzy with the dash available, but other than that, I feel like it's just not worth it anymore. Like Acend seem to love to lock that position down very early on in the round.
A little too aggressive ആണ് തോന്നുന്നു.
But look at this, the start of this round, Acend are shifting their focus towards the A site, and so are SuperMassiveBlaze. 3 players here in a one-way smoke coming through. They're going to try to not just, they've been spotted. Oh, they have 4 players here, 3 have been seen, and that's going to be Acend backing off. There's no way they commit to it.
Yeah, at this point I'm almost starting to wonder if they have some sort of pact. Where it's like we go B and then we go A, and then we go B and then we go A. Then we go fight each other there. But this is a lot of control already being taken. Locking down mid, we know that the only man holding on is going to be Pora. Now, we mentioned it before, he is incredibly good with his pistol. He's found an angle, but he is more than aware. We've seen the front of the shadows actually used to TP into the back of the site, but it doesn't matter. The site's gone.
God, Brave just got domed. The first was nice, the second unreasonable. The lockdown comes into effect. Plant can be secured towards the back of the site, and this is where SuperMassiveBlaze normally would be considering a save. That's been heard. Starzo knows full well that there are players barreling around middle. That was not an easy fight to take. Not expecting him to be running past like that. For Turco, I think saving is definitely on the cards. Although I notice he's the closest player, and now up on top of the. Oh, if that hit, I would have banned him. We'd have to hit the button right away. That was a disgusting attempt. We'll get him in the end. 10-8. Ascend. Going up to double digits in the win. As they now look to bring it across the line. This is SuperMassiveBlaze's mapping. They got 7 in a row. And again, struggling to get off the starting block in these early rounds.
Ascend's domination.
I love it.
Those are those sort of kills that maybe you get like once every few weeks, and Zeke's been doing it all the way through the day. I almost feel like SuperMassiveBlaze have got to feel a little bit hard done by the fact that they've had back-to-back maps where both Zeke and Acend.
അവരുടെ ഒരു ജെന്യുവൻ റിക്വസ്റ്റ് അവർക്ക് ഫിസ്റ്റ് ബം ചെയ്യാൻ ഒത്തിരി ദൂരമാണോ കുറച്ച് അടുപ്പിച്ച് കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ തെറ്റൊന്നുമില്ല
പിന്നെ അവർക്ക് കളിക്കാൻ ഫ്രീഡം ഇല്ല രജിസ്റ്റർ ഉള്ള പോലെ വെക്കാം ടാക്ടിക്കൽ ടൈം ഔട്ട്
and it's no surprise that it's SuperMassiveBlaze calling for that timeout considering how things have been going so far. They definitely need to take a breather. Yes, they bounced back into the previous map.
Well, I don't think that was a pause. They've gone straight into the round.
Oh, good.
We'll just see what happens in this one. Already looking a little bit better for SuperMassiveBlaze. Maybe they didn't need the pause after all.
Yeah, they didn't need the tactics. It looks like they're looking pretty clean in a 4 versus 2.
നല്ല കളിയാണ്
Operator on CNED hopes to find a victim.
100 Thieves'ന്റെയോ
100 Thieves'ന്റെ ഇന്ന് രാത്രി 12. Sentinels G2 നാളെ.
Obviously, when you're on the attack for Ascend right now, losing this round isn't going to be the end of the world. They've built up quite a hefty bank.
അല്ല നാളെ അല്ല
SuperMassiveBlaze
മറ്റന്നാൾ
really need to win this in a relatively clean fashion. They have so far. And then okay, that's a trade. That's good. He got that kill so quickly onto Zeke. My God. Another CNED clutch needed. And although he's reliable when it comes to the EMEA region for making those clutch plays, he's up against SuperMassiveBlaze here. These are his countrymen. They know what he's up to.
Yeah, they tried to bait a few steps here and there to try and pull a couple of rotations, but it was nothing that was fallen for by their opponents. And again, I feel like Brave has got away with that peak a few times. Playing towards that A site. The fact is, though, it has been the B site that looks a little bit more vulnerable at the moment for SuperMassiveBlaze. A has looked pretty decent. I think Brave has done a good job. I think it was the only time they actually won it was either it was a full retake or Brave was just somewhere off of the site. So if they've had him in lockdown, it's worked. And now we do actually get the tactical
timeout. Oh, and CNED's aced. I'm kidding. It is a timeout
I
from
can tell this time
SuperMassiveBlaze.
because we actually have a special screen that shows the map.
Yeah.
And last time I was kind of looking at it going, people are moving.
They're running around and disappearing.
Whereas this time, no one is moving. So if they're bamboozled again, then someone is completely tricked.
Same situation though. This tactical timeout for SuperMassiveBlaze comes at such an important time. They are 10-9. They're 1 behind, trying to get back on that same comeback that they had in the previous half. They allowed 5 rounds to their opponents in a row that time, and then swung back into it. This is their defense though. We expect so much more from it, but the tactic that they so love to deploy, the B main pushes, the A main pushes, the grouping up and using the pack mentality has been countered every step of the way by Acend. So they need to go back to the drawing board, and this is where their coach gets to input quite a bit.
Yeah, he's been given the chance to do it. Zeke will get Mitch very excited. He bought himself an Odin on the attacker side, and actually for now was facing it to bid. I imagine he was just lining up a little bit of utility, trying to force some players out of position. And again, we're going to see the wall actually this time being put down. I like this a little bit better. I said the aggression into this side of the map has been a failure so far for SuperMassiveBlaze.
Get the big guns out. Let's go, Zeke. Here's the recon. That's going to reveal the player down in the alley and give Zeke an opportunity. In fact, Turco manages to just sneak his way down. Avoid getting tagged on. That could have been a disaster otherwise. And this is definitely going to be a split into the B side, at least for now. The spike has been left all the way towards their spawn. They are allowing Killez to hold on to control there with his turret and then rotate late. But it looks like, yeah, they are going to commit.
I almost wondered if they were going to try and fake things
Split തന്നെ കളിക്കുന്നത്. അവിടെ
Sort of the same utility. The problem though is SuperMassiveBlaze haven't fallen for it. They've still got 3 players within this site. Now the Cosmic Divide will at least give them a chance to section out some of these players, but they need to try and catch some of the remainder before they can take the site.
Boathouse blocked, and now it's time to rush into the site, taking the fights as they go, but down goes the Odin. Zeke dealt with. Izzy pops out with the Blade Storm for some close-range fights. We call that one a Sean Gares. He's whiffed it completely as we go into the 3v3 with very little time. Acend can't really get that spike planted. How are they going to be able to close in the distance? They need the kill so quickly. Bone Cold, good for it, but time is gone. The round already SuperMassiveBlazes, you would have imagined, but that last kill at the last second. I think 4 seconds left. I'm like, oh, it's done, it's dusted, but they just about managed to pull it off. 11-9, and that's one of those rounds where SuperMassiveBlaze have got to be kicking themselves, man. They did everything right, they delayed it, and it's the player who was doing nothing the whole way along. Bone Cold must have went 12 rounds in a row without a kill, and he turns up right when he needs to. Well, yeah, and also
ജയിക്കുന്ന പ്രതീക്ഷ അവന് ബ്ലേഡ് സ്റ്റോൺ പോപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. ഇപ്പൊ അവന്റെ മാർഷൽ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ.
And the time has gone as well. Like literally, if that player stayed Boathouse, they won off time. That's one of those things, man. Try to play with your teammates, and it's the wrong decision. That's why I always bait. It doesn't work.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Not going to disagree with what you just said. But early couple of tries, 4 versus 4 weaponry is big for SuperMassiveBlaze. They've got themselves a Marshal, a couple of SMGs, but they have managed to find themselves an opener. Now their A-site hold has definitely been the better of the two. The problem is they don't really have much space around it. They do, however, have the Killjoy.
If they do, that's going to buy them a lot of time. Delaying it down that mid peak. Great shot by Izzy, a Marshal in hand. Only one shot if he hits the heady, and that he most certainly does. Starzo has spotted a player dropping down, the Marshal poking and prodding at him. Hopefully the slow will be enough to keep him back. Starzo closes the distance. There we go. He'll eventually be taken down. That could have been incredible. Backside, look how low Russ is. They do not want to lose Russ down below. They've taken him out, and now the Rez luckily has put them into a 2v3. But a tough one, as again, time could have been the enemy, but the spike will be planted.
Try and deny them the initial push, but they're just going for it. They're going to try and run through, and Starzo is there. He saved them in this round. The plays into mid, catching out Pora.
Match point.
It's going to be 12-9, and this is where things really are troublesome for SuperMassiveBlaze. They invested a decent amount into the last round, but I do wonder if that's going to be a position where financially it sucks again.
അവന്മാർക്ക് ഒന്നുമില്ല, ബയ്യും ഇല്ല. അതെങ്ങനെ തിരിച്ചു വരാനാ? ഗാർഡിയനെ കൊണ്ട് ഷെറിഫ്, 2 ഷെറിഫ്.
And then you have that second form, the tight, consistent gameplay, and that is what we're seeing here. A glance at the score. Everyone's between 17 and 19 kills. This is not a simple situation. Oh, let's deal with this guy.
ലോവർ ബ്രാക്കറ്റ് ഉണ്ട് പറഞ്ഞാൽ
ലോവർ ബ്രാക്കറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്.
ഫസ്റ്റ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് അല്ലേ?
അല്ല ഇതിനി ഒരേ ഗ്രൂപ്പിന് എങ്ങാണ്ട് ഒരേന്നൊങ്ങാണ്ട് അങ്ങനെ അതോ കോമൺ ആയിട്ട് എങ്ങാണ്ട് ലോവർ ബ്രാക്കറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്.
SuperMassiveBlaze are known for being dominant on. Let's take that away and even say Turkey are known for being dominant on.
കോംപ്ലിക്കേറ്റഡ്. ഈ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിങ് വേണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതൊരു വല്ലാത്ത കഴിഞ്ഞ വട്ടത്തെ മാസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് അത് ടീം കുറവായിരുന്നു, അത് ശരിയാ. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പൊ ഈ ഒരു ഇത് തോറ്റ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ നിരങ്ങി വേണം അങ്ങ് ചെല്ലാൻ. ജയിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ സുഖത്തെ ചെല്ല, തോറ്റു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കഴിഞ്ഞു. അത് തന്നെയല്ല, ഗ്രൂപ്പിങ് ചെയ്തതും ശരിയായില്ല. റാൻഡമായിട്ട് ചെയ്തെന്നാ, പക്ഷെ 2-3 ഗ്രൂപ്പ് എ എങ്ങാണ്ട് വിഷൻ സ്ട്രൈക്കേഴ്സും എല്ലാമായിട്ട് നല്ലൊരു ഗ്രൂപ്പ്.
Man advantage. They called a tactical timeout just before this. Ascend letting SuperMassiveBlaze sit in it, and now they'll run the clock down and do much of the same.
It's not something I ever would think of with that man, at least. Like the Marshall in the previous round, it was quite a bit. We'll see if he can have the same success. Again, though, it's looking fairly
close range എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ
all waiting outside. The right call. 3 players on this site. If they can trade effectively, sure, it's going to go great, but they need to shut this man down early, and that's exactly what they do.
Great kill on Izzy now, tucked in the corner. It's even expected. They were pre-firing and spraying away. The last man alive, and they'll bring Z right back into the round, bought back by the Rez. This is an almost unwinnable clutch. In fact, Pora's got the worst weapon of them all. We saw Spectres, but this man only has the Sheriff. Sure.
ഫസ്റ്റ് ലോവർ ബ്രാക്കറ്റിലെ ക്വാളിഫയറിനെ കിട്ടി SuperMassiveBlaze.
പേര് തന്നെ ഉണ്ട്. എനിക്കിനെ കുറച്ച് കലാപരിപാടികൾ കാണാം.
ഈ ഗ്രൂപ്പ് എ ഏറ്റവും പാട്. ഓ ബുള്ള്
കഴിഞ്ഞില്ലേ?
അത് തെന്നി അവിടെ കൈ ഒടിഞ്ഞ് കിടക്കുന്നു.
മുഖത്ത് പിടിക്കുന്ന കൈ ഒടിഞ്ഞിരിക്കും. നീനത് ക്യാരിയായിരുന്നു. എന്നാലും
എല്ലാരും കളിച്ചു. അവന്റെ തലക്ക് കിട്ടിയതാ
സ്പെക്ടർ വെച്ചായതുകൊണ്ടാ.
അവൻ എങ്ങനെ ജയിക്കാൻ? അവന്റെ ഒരു ഷെറിഫ് ഫ്രണ്ട് പോയിട്ട് അർത്തി വരുത്തി ബാക്കി 4 പേര് അടിച്ച് മൂത്ത് വിട്ടു.
പിന്നെ 100 Thieves മാച്ചിന് കാണാം.
അന്നേരം ബാക്കി ചെയ്യാം.
But it goes to a third map 100% of the time, and this is where Sue's going to be pretty thankful because she said if we get to a map 3, even though it was quite probable, so she's still technically in the right on that one. What an incredible performance though from Acend. This is exactly the form that we want to see them on to this tournament. He did 2 in the pistol, 0 in the rest of the half. You know what? It didn't matter. The rest of the team was showing up, and yeah, you had that star 2 or 3 rounds out of CNED, but for the most part, this was a tight-knit pack. Where they took that pack mentality. They stuck together because they knew these guys are on pistols, these guys are on weaker weapons. That's where they make aggressive plays. That's where they push. And if you play a default, you might just play right into that hand.
No, I think as well, the fact that there was just that momentum shift in the first half, I was almost sat there like, are we going to get the normal game now from SMB, where they just stomp through their opponents? It's not like any of their players, in my mind at least, were particularly missing. It was just a few crunch rounds, like the one where basically we should have seen Acend lose to time, where things just went a little bit wrong. And from then onwards, Acend looked like they were on top of the map. And, well, no surprise.
Thanks for watching. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് 100 Thieves സ്ട്രീമുമായിട്ട് വീണ്ടും വരുന്നത് വരെ ബൈ.
We know this is an incredibly tough group. Well, Starzo's having the time of his life. Big smiles from their coach MBS.